Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live. We're ready to go. We've got some Rocket League to attest to. Week number 3 of the MCS season. Season number 10. We've played 10 seasons of this league. I've only been a part of it since season 4, but I've seen some incredible moments and a lot of gameplay over the Rocket League's coming up on its 10th anniversary almost, and coming in 2025, but myself and Gold Dude will be hanging out for this first series, and you're here for 2, but I'm only here for 1, and then I gotta play.
So you're a little busy.
I am. I'm definitely busy today.
But I'm really excited to get these, for me, 2 series underway. But the first one's going to be a really good one. We got 2 top teams in the league, the Bemidji Lumberjacks versus the Chicago Jungle. Huge major implications on the line. And probably, if these teams continue their form, we'll probably see them maybe in the later rounds of the major. But I'm really excited to see them duke it out in this best of 5 here today.
And if we look at the schedule, AK is frantically showing things on his screen. But if you take a look at the schedule, Lumberjacks and Jungle, the first series. Then my team taking on the Minneapolis Miracles, and then Brainerd. We're going to watch both of Brainerd's series. That does not happen often that we get 2 teams who have the same series been played. But those are current standings. So Chicago is technically 4th in Premier right now. Bemidji is sitting in 6th. And Minneapolis in 8th, 10th, and Brainerd in 9th and 13th for Omaha and Des Moines and 7th. And that'll round out all right. The last series is our marquee match because it's a big one. Obviously, this first one, Gold Dude, is important for standings because both of these teams sitting at 3 and 2 currently, and anything could happen. But that last series, big for teams that want to break into the top 8. But these are important. If we take a look at just the point standings, Gold Dude, I noticed a couple things on here. I don't know what you noticed, but on the bottom left it says top 8 qualify for that LAN tournament, then 9th through 16th are eliminated.
And so I'm really excited to, as much as week number 3 is all fun, major is really when you see a lot of those points coming through, really start to see the best teams rise to the occasion and put themselves in a great place to attend that final LAN, that top 8 LAN, especially in Premier #1 league in the MCS. As you can see right now, Rochester Rhythm are running the table at 6-0, but we got 2 teams here today trying to assert their dominance and to see who can kind of get themselves on a great path going forward to finish the season off strong, but finish the first half of the season off strong.
And obviously 0-4 for Winnipeg. They are winless currently on the season, but you see where Chicago and where Bemidji sit, only separated by no points pretty much, and they're identical when it comes to their record, but they are different in that obviously their game differential is just a hair different. Looking at Bemidji's, theirs is 0 and Chicago's is 2, so that means they've just barely edged them out in that matter of fact. But Bemidji coming off of a very odd week, because this is a team that should be pretty darn good based on their draft. They have not made any moves yet, but they won last week, and obviously it's double headers. They lost last week to a sub top 8 team. They lost to what is now the 13th seed Omaha Buffalo, and that was in 4. Chicago's coming off of a 3-2 win against the same team Bemidji actually beat, but Chicago is also 1-1 last week, having lost to Bloomington, who's obviously sitting at 4-0. But if we take a look at what these teams are playing for, and that is the season, you had it right, AK. You can switch to the format if you want to, but right now you'll notice on the bottom of your screen, go to the trade window closing on the 17th of November. That is tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening at midnight. So when that clock strikes midnight and it's the 18th, moves are done. You can't make any changes. But major number one, all of next weekend, and it is all, best of fives for round one, and then I believe best of sevens for semifinals and on. But a lot of Rocket League going to be played next weekend. But even then, if we take a look at the bracket, look at how many round ones there are, and this is single elimination too. So, I mean, we're going to take the seeds 1 through 16. 1 is going to play 16, and 2 is going to play 15, and so on and so forth. And eventually, yeah, you're going to have a major winner. But that's what they're playing for right now, and it's a big tournament. But it's it can be a long tournament is what it is. And then obviously you have the points based on where teams place. First place gets 21, and that's a big 21 points, because like we've shown you, the most amount gold dude that somebody has is 30.
Yeah, and that's after 6, well fought series. So if you can get that first place, that's more than, most teams have currently. I think almost every team has currently here in Premier. And yeah, like you said, that single elimination, no reseeding, straight boilerplate of a bracket number one, or for major number one. And I'm really excited to watch that all unfold next week. So make sure that you're tuned in for that. But if you look at kind of how, for our first series, the Lumberjacks versus the Jungle, like you were saying, really interesting results for both. Both teams did face the Fargo Steelhawks with different results. Bemidji picking up a sweep, whereas the Jungle did end up going to a Champs Field game number 5. But then in their second series, Bemidji dropping to kind of a lower tier Omaha Buffalo, while Jungle was able to take a really good Bloomington Maulers team to game 5. So it's interesting to see kind of how both teams were able to handle last week's games with a familiar, or with an equal opponent, as well as 2 very different opponents. But we won't have to ask, any more questions between the 2 after today, at least for now, as we're going to be able to get to see them on the field. It looks like we're starting to get players entering the lobby, which is very exciting. Yeah, I just can't wait for these games to get going underway. I love watching some good Rocket League.
And obviously there can be chances for last minute subs. It is 303, so anything is possible at this point. But yeah, I won't go over the rules for forfeits or anything at the moment, but we have a little bit of time before we get to that point. But at the same time, I think it is important for us to give our own predictions about what this is going to entail. And this is the number 4 Chicago Jungle taking on the number 6 Bemidji Lumberjacks. You can't ask for a closer series to happen. Do I think this will be a sweep? No. Do I think this will be a Game 5 thriller? Actually, no. I think this will be a 4-game set, and I have the Bemidji Lumberjacks winning this series instead of the Chicago Jungle.
No, I'm actually going to take the exact opposite stance. I don't see it being a sweep or a thriller, as much as it pains me to say. If every neutral series I can watch could go to Game 5, well, I shouldn't say that, because that's what makes Game 5 special. But I think we're actually going to have the Chicago Jungle taking it in game number 4 today. That's my official prediction. I think Timmy Boone and Slippery Noodle are going to get it done. They're not going to need a game number 5 as much as the Lumberjacks are going to be pushing for it. I'm looking for some offense today. I'm really excited. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and let's just get some good Rocket League going. I'm hoping that we can get everyone in here relatively soon. I see we got a couple players for the Lumberjacks, but I don't know. My prediction might be a little bit altered, depending on how long it takes for the Jungle.
Yeah, I just waiting on those guys. They did send in a roster, so I have no idea if they're, if they're going to be sending in players here in a second. Give them information, so we'll see what ends up happening here. I am actually going to check if if one of their players is on the game because I do have him added, but regardless, doesn't look like he is quite playing just yet. But even then, a lot of other series starting at the moment, so see what we get out of that. But yeah, just waiting on a response here. Hopefully, we don't have a forfeits, and that is not good. That is some information.
Oh no.
Yeah. Very last minute as something came up for them. I will take a deep dive into it. This is great timing. This is great timing.
Investigative research.
Water.
Yeah, also, let's just say while we're taking our time here, thank you everyone so much for watching the broadcast so far. Appreciate you supporting the MCS. It's a great league. You know, a lot of passion put behind it. I know we got a lot of people behind the scenes working very hard. So just thank you for coming out, showing your support, supporting your favorite teams, especially playing in the league, engaging in the Discord, and excited to see you all at LAN come February.
I'm just going to ask for subs. As, yeah, I mean, that's just like that. All right. I mean, I guess we could also possibly look into getting into another series. I know I have to take a look at the schedule actually to see who is playing right now currently, because I know people have rescheduled their series. Bloomington and St. Cloud is playing right now, along with Duluth and Omaha. I mean, what else could I do? We could actually check in on the Bloomington Omaha series or Bloomington St. Cloud series. I think they're at the end of game number 1. Yeah, I could actually possibly hop into their series. Just give me a moment, guys. Apologies. This is what happens when we have forfeits. We have to figure things out. I will message my good friend Bubbly Reaper because he is on the Bloomington Maulers, and that actually is a good series to watch too, to be honest. We wouldn't be able to have a break because they're gonna play. So, yeah, pretty much. You're just gonna stare at us for a second. Did message him to see what he says. As ooh, they might be coming in clutch. As hopefully it'll allow me to pull you into this. As I'm going to leave this match and possibly hop in and stream it. This is an interesting time for sure.
We'll do it live. The show must go on.
Indeed. We'll do it all live. As I'm going to do that. And as into their game. AK, if you want to swap over teams, I would swap over teams, yeah, first, but yeah, no, they're in and playing, and I gotta figure out. I believe Bloomington won game 1, so yeah, I would put Bloomington won game 1.
The party is full, by the way, right now.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here, I can do this. And
All right, thank you. I can start solo casting this if you guys
no,
wanna...
you're good.
right.
No, we're just. AK, do you want to swap over teams on that other? Yeah, there you go. Hey, what a guy! He got it.
Ooh.
What a genius. We are in actually. Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, I would just lower it all the way down, but even then, yeah, no, this is our, I guess, our sub in series is this between the Bloomington
super
Maulers and the
subs.
St. Cloud Flyers. Yeah, talk about super sub, exactly. Currently Bloomington is obviously undefeated. They're 4-0. And St. Cloud is sitting in 5th place at 3-2. So St. Cloud looking to hand Bloomington their first loss, but the thing is Bloomington did win game 1. We did not get to view that, but at the same time, we're able to hop in here and able to get some Rocket League on your guys' screen for a second. But currently 2-1 Flyers. As I said, they're down 1-0 in the series, but I am interested to see this Bloomington team play because I haven't really seen them play at all. And I know they're physical, Gold Dude, and I know they can bring that to the table. So that, I mean, right off the bat, you see Bubbly getting a demo. So I have a feeling that's going to be a theme for them.
Yeah, Bloomington love to live up to their name as the Maulers, just trying to get in the face of their opposition, really try to push them around, get physical. And I was a little bit, really hyped up for a number 4 and number 6 team series, but this is a couple spots better, even number 2 and number 5. Bloomington undefeated. They did pick up game number 1, but they're down so far by only 1 goal. Here in game number 2 with just 150 left on the clock, as Zodak is just going to push it up to the wall, but actually does bait out the defense, as Kaz is going to have an opportunity to push that one just to the left, but it's going to find nothing but post. Zodak gets what looked like a free backboard for a moment, but that's a great recovery, although it's a bit of an errant touch as they're finally able to get it around. Bubbly Reaper, who is just putting on the pressure for the Maulers, but that's a free opportunity. I think that might have cost them here.
And I'm just getting some of the names switched over, but St. Cloud are 5th, 3-2 on the season. I have to look actually back at who they played last week. They did beat Minneapolis in game 5, and they did also lose to St. Paul last week, 3-1. So they went 1-1 as well. And this is similar to the Bemidji situation we were talking about, Gold Dude, where they beat a somewhat okay team, but then lost to a team that they probably shouldn't be losing to. And as we're, Bloomington's 4-0, so obviously they have 2 wins last week, beating Burnsville and then beating Chicago in 5, like we talked about with Chicago. So it's very important actually for Bloomington to get something going here with only 30 seconds left, if they can pick up this game number 2. But that shot from Aqua going to be off target. Bubbly Does going to beat out though, and Aqua is able to just turn around with no boost and tie the game with 25 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened here on the defense. Just really throwing it out to the side. A quick turn by Bubbly Reaper, setting up Aqua, who was able to put it in the back of the net to tie us up with 25 seconds left. Like you were saying, as far as just losing to a team that you shouldn't be losing to, anyone can beat anyone in a given series, but at the end of the day, as that's a great rip to the bottom left corner to get that lead back. It was only equal for 6 seconds, but a quick kickoff goal, 1-11 to the bottom left corner to put the Flyers up 1 with only 19 seconds left on the clock here in game number 2. They're looking to equalize this series. But if you want to be a top team like the Flyers want to be, the best teams always find a way to beat the teams that they're supposed to. They may not, they may struggle, if you're a top 4 team, you might struggle against those top 3, but you got to at least be able to consistently find a way to get out of those lower standing series, as that almost was redirected into a playable location. But St. Cloud is going to take game number 2 with, I would actually say, a huge offensive output, 10 shots versus Bloomington's 4.
Yeah, and I'm looking back on that game number 2, as I did get AK's replay set up, so we can have replays of the series. But yeah, 1-1 series, as we guessed right. As yeah, 1-1 right now. Aqua, Bubbly, Reaper, and Fishy, full rosters for both teams actually. Fusion, Bleach, Cause, and Zodak for St. Cloud. And like we talked about this Bloomington team, 4-0, a lot of physical play, but I really like the way that they're playing right now. Aqua seems like the guy who's going to stick up field, kind of, do whatever he wants. And then there's, Bubbly, who can kind of do the same thing, but at the same time can play midfield, go dude. And also Fishy, who can, just sit back and kind of play at his own pace. And if he wants to play faster, he can, and play physical on rotations. So this is a Bloomington team that has all of the bases covered, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you were mentioning Bubbly Reaper playing that midfield. Sometimes the midfield's not picking up those goals as much, but if you look at that stat sheet for Bubbly Reaper, despite them dropping that game 2-3, Bubbly Reaper did about as much as you can ask for. As we do have an opportunity here quickly, no goals, but 2 assists, 2 saves on 2 shots with 6 demos. So really opening up that space and enabling teammates on each of those goals. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you can ask for anything in a teammate, sometimes it's nice to have a teammate that's just setting up really mechanical, solo plays. But if I can have a teammate that's getting me some room on the ball, opening up the space, getting demos, getting saves, I mean, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, especially with the, like you talked about, playing off ball, but also being, carefree about it. Bubbly doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective, and that's the important part of how he's playing right now for this Bloomington team. Aqua ends the game with 2 goals, and didn't do it in an insanely flashy way, but that's the whole point. His job is to finish the playoff. Bubbly's job is to create the play from the beginning. Is good first touch from Fusion. Bleach gonna run out of boost, as these 3 players never played with each other. Obviously, Bubbly and Fishy are brothers, so they've played with each other a ton. Aqua, brand new to the league, but through 4 games has his team perfect. So has really shined through for Bloomington so far. A minute and a half in, nobody's scoring just yet, but this is what Bloomington are doing so well, putting the ball in Aqua's hands.
Yeah, and Aqua not only getting the ball in his hands, but has had a couple great catches, especially on that sidewall, which if you can, it's really, as I thought, maybe that's a really awkward touch, but they might be able to get out of it. It looks like they will. They're lucky that Aqua did not have enough in the reserves to make a play there. Fishy just trying to keep it in play, as Bubbly Reaper is going to miss that ball, and this could be an opportunity for Fusion Bleach. Can they find a pass? No, they cannot, as Zodak, again, just trying to keep the ball alive, but a couple misses off that corner. But so far, the Maulers are just not able to get out of it, as that 2 will commit, as well as a beat shot off net, and it's just wide. Aqua getting a flip reset towards the net, double tap, but it's wide.
Zodak on the turnout, great pitch from Fishy, as Kaz just spawns in, the ball appears in front of him. Aqua pre-jumps, Kaz thinking he's going to go to the other direction. Fishy pop-up air dribble shut down by Fusion Bleach, and now they leave Bubbly kind of on an island. Fusion Bleach will catch it, get a shot, but Aqua sitting in the way. No score between 2 teams that are top of the mountain right now for this Premier League. And Gold Dude, you mentioned it. Aqua has had a lot of great catches on the ball, but also has really been putting the plays together to give his team the chance. Almost had that flip reset to the backboard, as Bubbly's shot will be just wide. Zodak with an easy read, an important demo that leaves Fishy alone. with no boost to work with. Sodak lining up a double. Fishy will have the clear, a monstrous clear actually. That's going to be threatening on net, and that's important for Bloomington. Can they get down the field quick and make sure they're able to play physical? Because when they can play physical, that's where they open up the lanes to pass the ball, to even shoot the ball, as for that fact. As 90 seconds to go, Gold Dude, no score.
Yeah. And so far, like we said, less than 100 seconds left. Bubbly Reaper off this top corner, trying to get the pass down. But it's shut down by Zodak, who has no boost. If I'm the Flyers, I'm looking for a little bit better of a possession game. They've been struggling a lot on just not only ball possession, but boost possession, as we see there. They had a decent opportunity, but Kaz was 0. The third defender 0 as well. Zodak has to take the long way around as there's no corner boost. Did get a little bit of a bump there on Aqua, but I think Bubbly Reaper and Aqua have been doing a great job of enabling each other on those offensive plays, making it as easy as possible. Fishy does get bumped, but it kind of works out as a pass, but it's shut down by Zodak as we only have 45 seconds left, getting into golden goal territory as Fusion Bleed setting up a pass. Who's going to be up for it? It will be Kaz, but it will be kicked out and away, although we do see a double bump on the blue half, but they're able to get out of it for the time being.
That's a good turnaround touch, though, from Kaz. Gives Fusion Bleach a shot. Fishy will have the save, turn it wide. Infield pass from Fusion Bleach, trying to find Kaz, but just chooses to use the sidewall instead. And a good decision, but that touch going to get away from him. Good clear from Bubbly. Finds Aqua, uses the ceiling, drops it down, and it's going to hit the post. Follow up from Fishy. It's open. He hits the post as well. And 7 seconds left. Zodak's going to run out of boost, but not run out of a touch. As Fusion Bleach will use the backboard here. Bubbly should have this clear. We'll hit it to the side. Aqua, I thought he was going to keep it up. He's not. He lets it go. 1-1 in overtime. And Gold Dude, this is golden goal territory.
Yeah, I know I said so earlier. That's a big miss. Fusion Bleach just trying to play patient. I mean, it should almost be 2-0 Maulers at this point. There was 2 opportunities there in the final seconds. Zodak just trying to bait out the defenders, but Fishy just going to get a huge pop. There's no boost on the defense, but they were able to get it off the backboard. Bubbly Reaper, quick cut. Tries to get a bump, does get it, but pops it high on the shot by Aqua, who does pick up the corner boost. Trying to harass, is going to go for a quick cut here. Gets a double off the ceiling. Pass Zodak, bump by Fishy, shot, but no, it doesn't find the pay dirt as Aqua again getting an opportunity, flip reset, double tap, it's saved, and that is a double commit.
They're going to choose to take it back, just going to keep possession, wants to draw St. Cloud a little farther out of their net, does get a demo. Aqua's waiting on it, trying to 50 Kaz, he does get through. Bubbly does win the 50, that's going to go back to Aqua, but he's just starving for some boost as Fusion Bleach will pop that up. A double commit again for St. Cloud as Fishy will line up a pass to Aqua. And he does get another flip into it, uses the wall as he kind of propels him forward. Bubbly chasing demos on the back line, trying to open up space just a little bit as he will find another one. Aqua, full possession, but the big thing there is you saw what he drove right by is that midfield boost did not get any and was not able to use anything for it, as that is a full overextension, open net. St. Cloud's 1 game away from ending Bloomington's streak.
And I was just about to mention, I don't even think we've seen the blue half in this entire overtime, and just like that, sometimes you don't need any boost when there's no defense. Flyers able to take game number 2 and number 3 here in overtime. That was a shocking overtime. I mean, Bloomington looked aggressive. They looked in control. Aqua going for flip resets, double taps off the backboard. Really just, I mean, keeping the ball alive and in play for huge swaths of time. And in the end, all it takes is a little bit of slow rotation, double commit, and yeah, you're now losing in the series and 1 game away from dropping your first series of the entire season.
And to have that happen before the major, especially it being major number 1 with how ruthless the kind of format is, not really what you want. You don't want to be dropping games before probably one of the biggest tournaments of the season, and hoping that Bloomington can figure out this game number 4, because that will get things done. But I'm excited to see what ends up happening too, because we're, like I said, at the end of this trade window. We've got basically 24 hours less than that on the time clock. So, we're running out of time when it comes to getting things going here, as Bloomington are one game away from dropping their first, series. They'd be 4-1 gold, dude. So they wouldn't be totally out of contention yet. But like we talked about pregame, your seeding at the end of, this weekend is final for that major. You're playing the team that is in that other slot that you will run into. So if you're sitting in that 4th seed, you'll get the 12th overall team as Fishy opens game 4 with an early shot and an early goal.
Bubbly Reaper doing it all, like we were saying earlier, getting a 50 and then a bump on Zodak. Like we were saying, Bubbly Reaper not getting the goal there, but helping out to pick up a goal in 2 ways. As we do see a kickoff here, they're up now 1 goal, just 12 seconds into game number 4, a must-win game for the Maulers. It's not must-win for the season, but like you were saying, with this unforgiving Major 1 format, seeding really is everything. If you don't pick up a series win in the Major, you're not walking away with any points. So if you can be that number 1 seed and play a team that's in 16th place, maybe really struggling, I never want to say guarantee points, but you set yourself up in a really good position to walk out of Major number 1 with at minimum 5 points. As we do have a little bit of tied up defense, but Aqua able to get them out of it, as we've already had 1 minute off the clock here in game number 4. And the Flyers are trying to find some identity on offense here, as a demo will get them in the swing of things. Fusion Bleach is up for the shot. It ends up being an errant pass, but Kaz is able to pop it to the defense. And we do see a couple demos. It is just bombs away out here. But Aqua is just going to try to play the ball to some safety, but I think it ended up making it a little more dangerous.
And St. Cloud looking for a more traditional style of play, working the ball through the corners, getting the shots on target. Is Fusion Bleach will tie the game, and just found that angle. A good 50 from Kaz, caught Bubbly Reaper, no boost, and he was the guy who ended up having to make the save because his teammate in Fishy did not make contact. But St. Cloud playing a more traditional style of Rocket League, playing the ball through the corners, looking for demos on the third man at kind of that last moment, as Aqua wins the kickoff, does pick the bottom corner, and will use iron to get it done, and that is a 2-1 lead now for the Bloomington Maulers, who don't wait. They get it right off the kickoff.
Did someone tell Aqua that jumping and flipping is a thing? I think Aqua, that was all gas and no brakes on that cheat, and it works out as they're able to pick up a goal there. We're only equal for just a moment, but Bubbly Reaper now in a precarious situation and not able to make the save, as 2-2. These teams going back and forth the last few goals. We are working on getting the game volume up. Apologies for that, but regardless, can't do it at the moment because it's an in-game setting. Well, we want to make sure that we're watching the game first. But a great tie up there from St. Cloud, and we'll see what we get from them to end off this series if they can finish it in game number 4. But still plenty of time. 3 minutes to go. A good testing shot from Fishy is. His teammate from way back when, and he did win a season 7 title with in Fusion Bleach will make that save, but Bubbly's turnaround touch goes right into the midfield. Zodak does not read it, backflips. Aqua is there regardless of whether Zodak was jumping or not, so does get the lead right back, and now it's exactly 3 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time, but keep an eye on the boost totals for St. Cloud, because the longer this game goes on, I think the more and more they're going to see double commits like that, but also their boost being stolen by a Bloomington player. That is a beautiful shot from Fusion Bleach in the midfield. Bar down and in, and that'll tie the game up. We have an absolute barn burner. Great pass by Zodak. A beautiful redirect, just skimming it in the midfield. That's such a lethal shot. And ended up being barred down and in, just over the rooftops of both final defenders, as with pretty neutral kickoff. But Fusion Bleach with an opportunity here. It's shut down by Aqua, but it's not going to be enough, as Fusion Bleach picking up a pair of goals in such a short time frame that in just 22 seconds they go from being down one to being up one, and 2:38 away from getting out of the series 3-1. I can't believe this game's not even half over.
Yeah, no, there's lots of time. We have 7 goals so far. Unfortunately, not the the most beautiful thing in the world when it comes to defense, but 7 goals is 7 goals. And it's Bloomington right off the kickoff on the attack. They get a demo on the back line. They almost lose. That 50 is just going to pinch off, and Aqua kind of comes out of nowhere. As we were watching Fusion Bleach's point of view, and Bubbly kind of lost the 50, but Aqua just pinches the ball into the corner and uses that bottom left. He must love that left post.
Yeah, I mean, Cargo's pain coming through like a freight train. Aqua came off screen and just muscled it into that bottom left corner. I was kind of shocked that it went in the way that it did. Not even through the car, just kind of quickly forcing it around as Aqua goes for the musty, but it's too much mustard on that burger, and it's going to be off the backboard as Fusion Bleach having to make a save. Aqua trying to catch it, keep it in, leaves it for Bubbly Reaper, who gets a sharp angle double to get it to the backboard, but no assist is able to be found. Fishy, too much pop. Zodak just trying to control, get it down to Fusion Bleach. We do have a bump. However, it might work out in favor of the Flyers. Tie game now with 1 minute 40 left on the clock, as that's one that I think Aqua should be able to convert, but they're able to survive for now.
Probably gonna be able to hit this out. I thought Zodak caught, the Maulers on the counterattack, almost did. As Fishy will be shut down by Zodak in the midfield. Bubbly pop-up air dribble, likely going to look for a bump. Does try and readjust and bump Fusion Bleach. The shot from Fishy is just a little bit too weak. Aqua does commit. No boost as he's looking for a bump himself. As Bubbly will just fire that one on target. Nobody's home for St. Cloud. They caught him napping.
Yeah, Kaz just getting absolutely harassed on the backboard here. Aqua doing what he can. Bubbly Reaper now going to get gonna have his turn to put the ball in the back of the net, and with 1:08 left on the clock, the Maulers are looking to take us to Champs Field and equalize this series 2-2. As Aqua taking that 50 and realizes both my teammates are upfield right now. I gotta go for this myself, despite it being kind of an awkward angle. As Fishy is gonna leave that for Bubbly Reaper. A little bit precarious there. Aqua trying to harass Zodak, the final defender, keep the play alive for Fishy, who does get it past the final defender. Zodak 0 boost save and is able to convert and keep them alive. You go down 2 goals with just 40 seconds left, and it's potentially over, as that is a missile flying through named Bubbly Reaper to take out the last defender. Kaz just kind of throwing it to the midfield. Zodak not able to get there, and a slow roller right down Main Street. I mean, Bubbly Reaper, that was heat-seeking with 39 seconds left on the clock.
He demos Fusion Bleach in the midfield, and then Fusion spawns in expecting to even get off of spawn. Doesn't. Bubbly demos him directly off of the spawn, and it'll just roll all the way into the middle of the net, and nobody home. For St. Cloud is 20 seconds to go. Bubbly's looking for a 7th, as that one will be shut down. And all but a formality. We're gonna go to game number 5 for this series. As Kaz will redirect that one. That one's gonna be off target. Aqua almost the redirect himself. Sodak's gonna likely kill this one down. As lots of replays to go through for this one. 3 seconds to go, and we're gonna go to game 5 goal, dude.
Yeah, a 10-goal barn burner in game number 4. I mean, that was a shocking back and forth, but Bloomington was able to pull away in the final minute there with I think the first multi-goal lead of the game. I could be wrong. It was a long game. There could have been one at the beginning. But Fusion Bleeds, 4 goals on 7 shots. I mean, both all 4 were set up by teammates. But you talk about an offensive engine. That's what they're going to need to see heading into game number 5. You're shooting over 50%, but the defense has to step up a little bit because, if you allow 6, it's really hard to win.
I mean, 6-4, it is very hard to, allow 6 as, it's hard to allow 6 and win the game. I mean, you want to be, good defensively, but at the same time, if you're allowing 6 goals, it's going to be really hard to win an offensive game that when you got to put up 7. So I think if you're St. Cloud, you don't even remember that last game. You want to focus on this game because this is the most important game of your series and of your season so far, because it could mean the difference between you getting a good seed and you not. As it was kind of bully ball there for the Bloomington Maulers in that last game. Gold Dude, we're going to go into game number 5 of a series that we weren't even supposed to be watching, but we're getting treated to anyways.
Yeah, really a surprise here as Kaz is going to keep catch the defense sleeping. Little bit of a surprise there. Fusion Bleach gets bumped, but backs into the ball. I love that pass by Fusion Bleach. Really heads up play. And put the Flyers, who, dropped that last game. It was a back and forth game that they might have left thinking, man, we really should have won that one and put the series away when we could. But they will absolutely take a 1-goal handicap heading into this game as they're trying to pick up a backline bump. Zodak just flying in, beats 2 defenders. Can they find a midfield pass? It does go to Cause with no boost, but can't make the play. Zodak is able to stay on the ball with boost. Gonna pinch it across, but it's gonna go right to Fishy with an opportunity. Fusion Bleach has to get to it quick and does, but with only 1 boost left in the tank, they do have to put their hands together and pray as they are in a dangerous situation, but they're able to survive for now, as we have nearly seen a minute go off the clock of just back and forth Rocket League. Bubbly Reaper dicing him up, and he will equalize with 4:10.
And he was playing this on a catch, did catch Zodak out, no boost, but look what Aqua does. Recognizes there's only 1 defender left, and you got to put a hand up if you're Fusion Bleach to stop that, because Bubbly's gonna run right through you, right underneath you as soon as you jump. That's exactly what he does. As they caught him off the kickoff again, Cause does scramble back. Bubbly into the corner. They're going to press again. Fusion Bleach, a full tank. Did get that corner boost. We'll get out for a second, but Fishy kind of caught him out. Follow-up is there. Bubbly's going to hit the crossbar. As Bloomington, if they win this, they're 5-0. Going into that second series, and have to remember who they play on their second series is Fusion Bleach. Huge save to keep us equalized. As Bloomington has obviously St. Cloud in this first series, but then they play Winnipeg. So I'm not saying it's a free win, but at the same time,
he's hunting.
They should win this. That's a double demo. Usually just can't get back to it. Aqua will make the game 2-1.
I mean, Aqua just hunting them down. Bloomington so far, the Flyers have done a great job of working together as a team on the ball, passing it to each other, but the Maulers are looking incredibly impressive, as that's a fake kickoff, I believe. Just looking incredibly impressive on their off-ball presence. They are absolutely bullying, as that is a great save. Cause trying to keep them in it, and they do have an opportunity here as Bubbly Reaper does have 0 boost, but Fishy was able to pick up the midfield, fights off that contact on the sidewall, and is able to advance the ball into positive territory. Bubbly Reaper gets called off the play there by Aqua, who does get off the ceiling, but Fusion Bleach shutting down what could have been a highlight reel shot. Fishy popping it high, gets the corner boost, and gets it away from the danger zone. Aqua now with a 50, but loses it big. Fishy does get a great bump. Like I said, great off-ball presence. That was a really dangerous spot, but Fishy, even with 0 boost, was able to help out the defense as just advancing it up the field, but it's shut down by Fusion Bleach. We have been in this corner for maybe 60 seconds, but that's gonna, 30 seconds, that's a big demo. As Fishy has no boost, this could be a free one, and it will be. We've tied the game with 2:21 left on the clock here in game number 5.
Fishy's save was just not good enough, and it resulted in a double commit. They didn't get what they wanted out of it. I think Fishy was leaving it for Aqua to hit it. And when it ends up happening, nobody hits it. The corner boost is stolen. The shot comes in, and it's basically a free goal. As right off the kickoff, Aqua wins it. Does eat a demo for his troubles. Zodak, though, collects. Looking to pinch with Bubbly and uses momentum against him as he nearly walked it through. Aqua just running interference. Will not leave. She plays alone. They win the 50 in the corner. As Aqua menace on the goal line. Bad touch from Bubbly. As Aqua will get a double out of the corner and third touch as he kind of catches St. Cloud napping a little bit. Great back pass though from Zodak, but Bubbly again. Physical plays from Bloomington. They're stealing the corner boost, not allowing St. Cloud to have not necessarily an easy timeout, but a comfortable game is what they're not allowing St. Cloud to have. It just feels like every time I switch to a St. Cloud perspective, they're either in a frantic position to find boost or they're avoiding a demo.
Yeah. I am shocked that this is currently a tie game because, I mean, I don't even know how if you're the Flyers, how you're not just absolutely panicking anytime you're anywhere on the field, even in the air. I don't feel like they're safe. As Bubbly Reaper again hunting upfield, trying to find someone on the backboard, and does make a defender jump. This is absolutely ridiculous to watch as Bubbly Reaper picking up a demo. This could be an opportunity for Fishy, who's getting more upfield help and tries to get a bump of his own. Aqua, that's a big miss though. This could be an opportunity. Fusion Bleach is getting some upfield help of his own. We do see low boost counts by the blue defense, but that's a great catch and save and clear by Bubbly Reaper, who doesn't even use the flip off the sidewall, just trying to guide it down to the ground. They do have an opportunity here to end the drought of this tie, or really end this tie, as that was very dangerous by Fusion Bleach, but extremely patient gameplay paid off in that instance. Fishy, big clear, and with 30 seconds left, that's a huge dunk. Bubbly Reaper was able to get it to safety, at least for the moment. Fishy with a big bump, as Bloomington needs to get out of it if they want to remain undefeated.
Bubbly's got a full tank, got to work against Fusion Bleach here in the corner. This is a huge challenge. Cause steals the corner boost. This is still dangerous. Infield does Zodak. He tries to pick the corner. Does not make contact. Still pops it up. Fusion is there. 2 seconds. It's going to stay up. Cause has the shot. But Fishy just had enough. Overtime in game 5. This is true golden goal territory, as we are going to go up the clock. As Fusion Bleach infield the Cause does catch it, does flick over Fishy. Bloomington's streak is done, and they will be 4-1 on the season. And yes, AK, you are correct. There is only one undefeated team left, as St. Cloud will end the streak in game 5 overtime, as a pretty darn good series indeed.
And you know, we are watching 5 long games, including an overtime, a 3v3, but it ended up coming down to a 1-on-1, and Kaz was able to catch the defense lacking, picking up a goal in what ended up being a huge game number 5. 2 goals on 3 shots, great efficiency, 3 saves as well, so really engaged on the defensive end as well. And St. Cloud going to take Bloomington down from the undefeated ranks. We only have, like you were saying, one undefeated team remaining in Premier, and you know, it's likely not to last for the full season. So as these teams kind of fall from those ranks, it's really interesting to see who gets to take them out, and it will be the Flyers here in game 5 overtime. What a great series that we weren't even expecting in the first place.
I mean, yeah. Looking back on, I believe this is AK. Is this the entire series? Yes, it is. Appreciate that. As yeah, this is the entire series. We only got to watch games 2 through 5, but even then, Gold Dude, we got treated to games 2 through 5. I thought these were great games, great series overall, and yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it was great Rocket League. 2, you know, really good overtimes. Obviously, game 4 was kind of a blowout, Gold Dude, but at the same time, game number 5 really delivered on all fronts, was as close as you could possibly want it to be. But what ended up happening is St. Cloud won that kickoff right away, and they caught Fishy back with sub 40 boost. His teammates were all pushed upfield. Cos made, basically what he did to open the scoring, and he was able to, do whatever he wanted with the ball. But yeah, I mean, if we want to look at our schedule, AK, I don't know if you updated the score for that, but I don't know if you did, so I have no idea. As yeah, of course you did. Yes, indeed, 2-3. As yeah, Bloomington and St. Cloud, we did adjust the schedule, so It does show Bloomington and St. Cloud, but a heck of a series for us to watch, Gold Dude, to start the day.
Yeah, if you asked me how I was gonna, even just an hour or two ago, how I was gonna enjoy casting a Game 5 overtime between the Maulers and Flyers with Stewie, I was gonna be like, "What are you talking about?" I'm casting with Zoms, and we're doing the Jungle versus the Lumberjacks, and yet, sometimes the surprises end out in the best way. This was a lot of fun. We had very different games. Game 4 had 10 goals and was really back and forth for the larger part of it. And game number 3 was a 1-0, kind of a longer overtime, minute 30 there. But it all ended up being, that was a huge difference. The Flyers were able to pick up 2 wins in overtime, and that ended up being the difference here in this series. Able to just pounce on that opening kickoff for game number 5, wasted no time. I shouldn't say they're the underdogs, because the St. Cloud Flyers are a very good team. But if you're against a great team like the Bloomington Maulers, especially a team that when you're in that mid game, in that midfield, and they're just absolutely harassing you on defense, kicking you off the ball, cutting down the midfield, if you're able to just, get out of the series as fast as you possibly can, and you have an opportunity like that, they were able to take it, and they were able to make the goal happen. And it's always fun to get a little ones action in, and it came at such a pivotal time.
Yeah. And coming up next, this should be a good one. Obviously, you see the schedule. Minneapolis Miracles taking on the Kansas City Outlaws. I am playing in this series, so it is going to be a fun one. But regardless, AK, you can transition to that scene if you want to. Yes, coming up next, Minneapolis Miracles taking on the Kansas City Outlaws. Should be a fun one. We gotta get to a break, otherwise we're gonna be a mile behind every other series. But regardless, was a good series, and we're gonna throw it to a short break, and we'll have the next one coming up in just a bit.
Jealous of the people outside, just living their lives. Millions of secrets get lost in the light. Tell me how to reach you, show me inside. All I want is you. All I want is you. All I want is you. I'm surrounded by memories of you and I won't rest until you know the truth. All I want is you. I'm surrounded by memories of you and I. Tell me how to reach you, show me your sign. I'm surrounded by memories of you and I. Tell me how to reach you, throw me a line.
I've been feeling just a little bit low. Got to get back to the show and we'll fly. Yeah. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. No one should have to dance alone, not tonight. reason to be hard to find. 'Cause we've already lost our mind. You and me, we're gonna write a little history. You and me, just show me love and then you'll see. Memories that we make, they are never gonna fade for a lifetime. We don't give no shade if you wanna hide away. We just hide it trying to play. Second feels up in the memory bank.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our second series of the day. I am joined once again by Zomzoms, who put in a marathon of a cast, and he will be joining us once again for not only this series, but the next one as well, I believe. And right now we have the Minneapolis Miracles versus the Kansas City Outlaws. Stewie, who was just my co-host, is going to be on the field in the throes of battle in this Premier League that we're currently casting today with, again, I shouldn't say major, large major implications on the line, as this is the last week before our first tournament of the season. And yeah, for the Minneapolis Miracles, you got Fuego, Johnny Law, who had a really successful season with the Atlas last in season number 9, as well as Gatman. And for the Outlaws, you got Katamak, Tox, and of course, Stewie. We just came off of a series that was a surprise series between the Bloomington Maulers and the St. Cloud Flyers, but ended up going to Game 5 overtime, where the Flyers were able to pick up the upset against the undefeated Maulers and take us away with a winner on a one-on-one 1v1. So yeah, I'm really excited for this series, as it looks like we got all the players ready to go. Oh, I take that back right as I say.
Word in. I think everyone's almost here. We just had a little mix-up. Yeah, but these are two teams that, depending on how these games go, they might actually meet right away in the major. Currently, Minneapolis are sitting at the 8th seed, and KC, the Outlaws, are sitting at the 10th seed. So they have a very high chance of, falling into that, maybe 7th and maybe staying at 10th or somewhere in there, where they end up actually meeting again right away next week. That would be kind of crazy, but I know these matches, just every single game this week is going to matter, because you want to get that higher seed. You want to avoid the side of the bracket that has all those powerhouse teams, which, to be fair, this season is pretty hard to avoid. In fact, I think these two teams are two powerhouse teams, but I just look at every single team and I'm like, that's a powerhouse team. That's a powerhouse team. So it's surprising to see that, a team with 3 stars like this are going 10th, but they're trying to prove something tonight, and it looks like they're trying to prove it right now. They're hopping into the game, and here comes the first kickoff. What do you want to do a quick prediction?
Quick prediction. I'll say Ambrosia / AKA Johnny Law. I've teamed with him. I should say with him, but he's been my GM twice for the Mankato Atlas, and he had a really successful season last year. I'm gonna believe in the Johnny Law effect and say that this is going to be I'll go sweep. I'll be bold here. I'll say that this is a Minneapolis victory. This is a Minneapolis Miracles sweep. It's a close sweep, but Tox is making me look dumb already. What's your prediction?
Well, Stewie, I joined in right as he was about to leave. I caught him as he was going, and he seemed pretty confident, and he had a little bit of swagger, but he said he wasn't going to predict because he's, so humble. But, that swagger makes me just lean in that direction. And so, I'm going to be leaning towards the Outlaws here. And I'll say in 4, I'll give you a game. And yeah, Fuego's showing why they're going to get a game. That was a crazy tight angle double. I don't know what would happen. Just ego challenge. Or no, it was a great read on the challenge, and he's got the double. That's a 1-1. And we're off to a hot start in the series already.
Yeah, that was a great punish. A little bit of a rough touch by Stewie there on that inside post, and Fuego making him pay early. Yeah, it was actually kind of crazy. I asked between the series, I asked Stewie, I said, what's your prediction? You're not going to be casting it, but what's your caster prediction? And he said actually a clean sweep. He said it's not going to be a perfect sweep, but it'll be close. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that, but he didn't want to do a prediction. I tried to get one out of him, but he didn't want to jinx himself too hard, as he is carrying the ball up the field there, but ends up losing it as he runs out of boost. Fuego trying to cause a little bit of chaos, as that is almost a pass over to Johnny Law, but he's able to save it, as Stewie is able to get it over to Katamak, who's able to put him up 2-1 now in game number 1 here. Just a quick shot. I mean, nothing too fancy, but it's just enough shine on it to get it past the entire blue defense into the back of the net with 3:35 on the clock.
Yeah, kind of left the ball in the dust. There was nobody for the Miracles really back, and Outlaws just outplayed that last defender. And I mean, the last player was the guy that just got demoed, and in that situation, it's normally a goal. Fuego, ball flying high, but easily, brought to the corner and possessed. He's low boost here, but maybe just playing for a 50, maybe to his teammate. Stewie's the one intercepted, actually brings it back to his corner. Tox is trying to get it clear out, but Johnny's there to meet him. Stewie gets bumped up by Katamak again. It leaves just secures the open net. It looks like they got miscommunication or something happened, and Stewie just got annihilated by Katamak and left the net wide open for Catman. What happened?
Sometimes you got the power of friendship, and sometimes you're blinded by it. Katamak and Stewie combining for a really unfortunate team bump, and they're going to go down here. But Stewie trying to make up for it immediately, gets it past 2, but that's a huge shutdown. But it does go right back to Tox, who tries to just bang it. I thought that was over Fuego, but Gantman flying in to make a diving save off the backboard. Couple dunks here in the midfield. Really just back and forth as Tox is going to bite there. And that's a great setup, but Gantman not able to convert the chance. Johnny Law trying to give some space for Fuego, who does pinch it off the backboard, but Johnny Law just going to call himself off there as Katamak. I thought maybe he was going to call his own number, tries to get at the Tox, but that's a miss. Stewie with just a quick poke shot, but it's going to go high and wide.
Yeah, we're seeing quite a few, just pot shots from mid. Nothing, they're not overstepping, which for both teams, which I really like. You still got 2 minutes. You don't have to go all in for a goal right now, especially because you're not trailing. Just take your time. Goals will come if you play perfect Rocket League. So if they just keep chilling and just keep waiting for maybe a mistake, mistakes will happen. Stewie probably not finding one here. Has the Miracles just back off and give him some space. Johnny Law bring it to his corner, just getting some 50 out, maybe to Gatman. Stewie's there to meet him. Looking for maybe a double off the wall. Does intercept by Fuego, but Stewie's actually doing pretty well. Actually, 1v3's everybody. There was just nobody in net.
And Johnny Law just getting absolutely hypnotized, getting past Fuego. I don't think that he knew that Stewie, even thought to go back and get that ball. I mean, I shouldn't say obvious, because obviously these players are much better than I am. But I think that Johnny Law was just caught a little bit sleeping there, and Stewie is able to put him up one after, really. I mean, that was a really bad goal that they allowed just a minute ago to equalize. And yet here they are in the lead, and they're able to pick up some bumps here, almost have an opportunity, but Fuego and Gatman able to pinch it away. Katamek trying to make Johnny Law awkward with 0 boost, as Stewie does leave that ball to go off the ceiling, but ends up working in Tox's favor, as he's going to find himself with some possession here, getting over to Katamek. Katamek off the sidewall, high arcing shot towards the net, but it's saved by Gatman, who is not able to get it over to a teammate, as 2 do commit there. Gatman with an opportunity here, plays it around 1 a second, but it's just wide and saved. Are you kidding me? Fuego with an opportunity, and it's wide. I cannot believe, after such a great fake and then putting it not only on but in the net, but it just wasn't enough, and that's a miss. Stewie potentially with the nail in the coffin of a game that, in my opinion, should be equal.
That was absolutely insane. I mean, it was just on the goal line. There was just no one to put it in, and then it looked like a post pinch, which clears out the ball, and Stewie able to quickly convert and double up their lead. They are going to be happy about how that turned out. Now, there's still 30 seconds, and Fuego's trying to force it through. He's taking it high, but with no boost, he actually gets just instant challenged by Tox. Tox is just going to go for a bump, leaves it for Stewie. Stewie just throws it up the wall. This is time that the Miracles need, and they're just draining out the clock at this point. There's not much they can do. They need to get out of their half. They need boost.
You committed.
Stewie's just all over the ball, but even then, it's just not in a great position. But maybe Fuego can maybe make something to happen here. But he gets shut down by Tox. You kind of let the first touch get a little away from him. Tox is going to take one more shot, maybe to stab the patch a little bit. There's 5-2. Couldn't really blame Miracles for going all in on that last play. They needed a goal. So maybe this one got a little out of hand, but wow, Outlaws really showing up in this first game.
I was poking fun at Stewie to begin the game. I was thinking personally, maybe he's just not going to be as warm going into this, because he is busy casting, and I really appreciate him joining me for that. And yet, taking absolutely no time going into this one, opening up with a hat trick, and not only that, but shooting 75%. So great accuracy on offense there for Stewie, who is going to outscore the other team by himself, picking up that MVP in game number 1. Outlaws leading the series 1-0 here in the MCS week number 3.
Yeah, did it very confidently. They just had a very solid base, and I feel like they were never really caught too out of position. Miracles did pick up 2 this game, but they just played such a solid game, and I think Miracles might want to clean up that backline a little bit. They got caught lacking a couple times. Even had that one demo that cost them a goal, but it's just game one. Lots of series left ahead of us, and all I'm saying, my prediction's looking pretty good right now, Gold Dude.
Yeah, I would say I think mine's. I mean, not pretty much. Mine is out of the cards at this point, and not only that, but Outlaws plating 5 in game number 1, which you and I actually saw yesterday. Not necessarily the Outlaws, but the first game of the night, a 5-goal for the victory for the winning team. That being said, the Miracles, they did score twice, and they were in it late, even when they were down 2-3. But what I'm really worried about for the Miracles as far as coming back in the series, you're only down 1 game, but you scored twice, and one of them was off a defensive blunder by the Outlaws that I just don't think that you're going to be able to buy in the rest of the series. And so, in my mind, you're almost losing that game 5-1. They do pick up a quick goal here, just 3 seconds in, so that's exactly the start you need to see. You kind of lack defensively and offensively in game number 1. Well, the best thing you can do is just get a quick kickoff goal, build some of that confidence back, and I mean, it still feels like game number 2 is just starting, and yet they're on the board already.
Yeah, they're gonna feel good about picking up an early goal and also just starting with a lead. I mean, who doesn't like starting with a lead? Although I will say, it does hurt to lose a lead, but I mean, they're not looking. It looks like they're already cleaning up their game a little bit more here. I mean, okay, just started. Now Gatman just trying to pinch the ball out. All 3 players on the defensive line. That was seeming like a really risky position, but they come out with a goal. So all 3 players were in that corner. In fact, 2 of them were running, patrol on the bumps on the front line right there, and man, just top left placement. That's basically perfect placement from Tox. And just a little footnote: last season, Gatman and Tox were actually on the same team, and they won Challenger. So, now playing against each other in Premier, this is a pretty important series too to secure a good placement for the major coming up.
And, Gatman got a couple. That's a backflip, but I think it was intentional. This could be an opportunity. Free net, and Johnny Law is going to make him pay, going up 2 goals now. I will say on that last goal, I loved what Gatman was trying to do. Got 2 touches, including off the ceiling, trying to control it into that ground pinch. If you got a little bit of height on that ground pinch, you do get it past the last defender, and we may be talking about goal of the series. But instead, you get a little bit too lost in the sauce, end up passing it out to a free shot, and it goes in the back of your net. So that is going to be something to watch out for. Is Gatman going to be going for a lot of those high-risk plays? Or is Gatman going to rein it in a little bit and say, all right, I need to be a little bit more risk-averse, as that did not work out. Tox, though, with an opportunity. We do see 2 commit. They still could be in the play here, but Gatman trying to collect. We do see a bump on Johnny Law, who's going to have an opportunity to get a clear here, but Stewie keeping it alive on the offensive end, leaves it, tries to go for a bump, but no one's going to be there. Tox, no one gets it off the backboard. Tox doesn't get the double, neither does the defense. Stewie trying to put it mid here, actually going for a shot himself, but can't get the dunk, as Tox does get a bump, as well as Stewie picking up the corner boost. This is a good offensive opportunity, as Katamek going for the psycho here, as we continue to play on with Tox at 0 boost in the midfield.
And just constant offense, it seems like, for the Outlaws. It seems like a goal will come at any moment. Gatman has to be stoic here, but Fuego's actually on the backboard. Pushes it away. Tox is being pressured immediately, not really giving it any space. Miracles are holding it down for now. Now, Katamak has to retreat. Fuego's up in the air, trying for a double tap, close range. It's almost hit, but it just goes wide. Now Johnny Law's put in a pretty rough position here in a 1v3. Tox just trying to force it down, force a challenge. Johnny Law just pretty well off his own ceiling. Gatman's there to meet him. Gatman chasing it down with no boost. This could be a decent chance to pass the ball. It's going to roll it all the way around. Katamak has to make a really difficult touch, and Fuego is going to capitalize on the miss. It is a 2-goal lead, and there's only half the game left.
Katamek just gotta make this read here, ends up picking the wrong book. Fuego finding the back of the net, and like you said, 2-goal lead for the Miracles, who really were dominated on offense in game number 1, and now they're looking much more comfortable. Sometimes that game 1 ends up being a feeler out game, as we do see a reset. It fakes out one defender, sets up Gatman, who 50s the final 2, and what a play here by Fuego. Gets the reset at the perfect time to send Tox flying. Stewie just trying to make the save, but kind of combines with Katamak to end up doing all of nothing, as we now have 4 goals for the Miracles just halfway through game number 2.
Yeah, they really just muscled it in right there, and even with some mind games. So, really like seeing the mix-up on the offense. Now, Fuego, they're back in the offensive half. Every time they're here, they're getting good chances, and honestly, for the most part, goals. That's a crazy save. Tox trying to just force it out. Stewie actually there to beat him, takes a pot shot on goal, but just these pot shots aren't going to be enough to get past the full boost Fuego. Fuego also just staying on the ball, just being a pest. You love to see that for the Miracles. Johnny Law's in a very awkward spot. Does get a decent touch over to the corner. Stewie's just going to bang it in, but it's met by Fuego again. Scatman just going to take another pot shot across the field, but Katamak is easily able to control the ball, even with... Just kind of burn through his boost, trying to find a teammate in the middle, but it's just Johnny Law to beat him and take the shot. Tox, better to it. Just keep it wide. Gatman, they're just going for a passing play. They don't really need it. You know, they're not going all in on offense. That's the one... Well, maybe here they do. Gatman's actually going to be in a bit of a 1v3 here, but no one is going for the ball. No one even tried flying up for that, and it seemed like maybe a missed opportunity.
I would absolutely agree. I think Outlaws, you know, you had numbers there, and Gatman, you know, not too awkward, but if you don't have anyone pressuring there, it's just a free clear for Gatman off that backboard, as that's a great catch by Johnny Law, who also picks up a demo, but ends up potentially saving it. I thought had an opportunity to score it there as well. Fuego picking up that corner boost, is going to be first on the challenge, does go up, but gets beat completely. Gatman able to skim it to the left wall. Tox combining on a 50 there, as that's a big miss. As, whoa, we see a lot of jumbled up defense by a no boost Miracles defense, but they're able to get out of it. Stewie off the sidewall, gets a touch to himself, reset over to Katamak, just trying to keep something alive as they're down 3 here, and they need to start getting desperate here to make something happen. Stewie not able to get anything going. That's a pass over to Gatman, who tries to go hunting. And as the clock winds down, 30 seconds left with a 3-goal difference, unless Stewie can plate one here, and he can, we potentially have a game with 28 seconds left.
They basically needed to go right then and there. Stewie just gets the great doozy. I mean, that's what they needed. Now they still need 2 goals. Now it's not impossible. We've seen a couple kickoff goals, so let's see if they try any funny business on the kickoff. They just lose it to Katamak in the corner. Katamak's going to try his Canada air dribble. He's going to bring it over Johnny Law, but Johnny Law does get a piece of it. Gatman's just waiting patiently and just plays it over Tox. That's precious seconds off the clock. In fact, it might be gained because of that. Fuego, oh my gosh, just misses the top corner. They're just assaulting the net. They don't even need it. They are just draining out the clock. That's pretty much game unless they're going to go right now. That is going to be the rest of the clock gone. And that is going to send us to game 3 with an even series. Wow, Miracles had a massive turnaround here.
Yeah, you know, I was looking to see, like I was saying, you know, I just was not impressed by the offensive output in game number 1. Well, way to prove me wrong, getting 11 shots on net in game number 2. 4 goals, 4 assists. Fuego on fire with a playmaker badge here in that one. And, you know, Johnny Law didn't need to do too much. Only 190 when you got 2 teammates going over 500 in the game. Picking up 9 shots between them. And the Outlaws, you know, they had a good shot output of their own, but they weren't as efficient with them. They had 7 shots, only 2 goals. However, the Miracles only had 3 saves. So if you do the math, they had 2 shots on net that weren't even saved. They were just off target. And that 2-goal difference was what ended up being the real difference maker here in game number 2.
Yeah, and you know, like you mentioned, you know, points do say a lot of the story, but you know, I really got to give credit to Johnny Law. You know, he was just filling the cracks in the series. Like, you know, I felt like he was always, you know, that solid third man, just like ready to, you know, clear the ball away or just playing really confidently for his team, and I feel like that's kind of what they needed. Now, going into this 3rd game, will they continue that, or, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna lie. When I have 190 points, I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna chase this next game. You know, I gotta pad my stats a little bit here. But listen, if Johnny doesn't care, you know, that he just keeps playing that extremely solid player that fills all the cracks. I can honestly see them just taking the rest of these games. Like they played really solid right there. Now, I think it's up to the Outlaws to really push it to that next level because they had a really nice extended pressure and what a beautiful team play. Now Gatman got credit for the goal, but Johnny, you know, just linking up with Gatman. What a goal here.
Yeah, getting a little bit of a fat touch there, and yet ends up immediately recovering, getting back to it super quick. A beautiful little carry, just lifting it in high into the air, soft like a cloud, over to Gatman. They end up kind of pinching it with the defense. Johnny Law, quick reset, and almost gets a bump on Tox, but Tox just able to survive the pressure. Katamak gets it over to Stewie, who does beat it, but runs out of boost, going for that long double. Tox putting a shot on net, and it's a beauty rip, but unfortunately, it's not going to be enough as Johnny Law going for the musty. These teams are trying to put a show on for everyone in chat, as that's a big demo, but Katamak not there for the shot as Tox cannot collect, and they will lose their offensive pressure as Johnny Law tries to just poke one on. We have low boost here. That's a big miss, but Fuego runs out of gas and can't put it on target.
That is such an opportunity just gone to the wayside, you know. I mean, he just did not expect whoever was on the backboard to whiff the ball, and you know, it looked so open for our point of views, but you know, if you jump and you're not expecting that, it's really hard to just get around that. And Gatman actually finding an opening, but really no one's there to shoot the ball. Johnny Law here to meet Katamak in the corner, but trying to maybe find a teammate, but Tox is actually there to just boom the ball out, relieve some pressure, but Gatman just immediately back to air dribbling into the other side. Gatman does get beat out. Johnny Law, and there's another 1v3, and this time he just has a Katamak all over him, who actually ends up with the goal.
Yeah, huge double commit in the midfield for the Miracles. Katamak just boxing out Johnny Law, who I'm sure is very frustrated on that one. Not much you can do in the one-on-one with the ball flying at your net as the game is tied with just over 3 minutes to go here in game number 3. Pivotal one here. Who will take the series on match point? As that's a big miss, but Johnny Law just not expecting the miss. And I do want to, you know, give him credit as far as, you know, that open net miss earlier. Not even really playing the miss there, just trying to jump like you were saying and get in the way. It ended up being a shot opportunity, but when you've already used both your jumps like that, you don't have a lot of juice left in the tank. But speaking of juice, Johnny Law with nothing, almost making, almost squeezing blood out of a stone there. Water out of a stone, ends up nearly getting a play there with the flip reset. Johnny Law, backflip, sets it up for Gatman. Gets the reset, but can't get back to it. I take it back, and we do have an opportunity, but it's shut down by Katamak, who's going to carry it up the field. And a demo is just going to keep us in this back and forth. I'm trying to keep up with this gameplay right now. They're just booming it back and forth right now.
Yeah, so many booms, so many 50s, so many demos, just so much happening at once. I absolutely love to see that. And now, just a quick double tap off the backboard. Tox has a quick read from a pass from Katamak, and the defenders just have no chance. If Fuego tried putting a hand up, he really did, but that's just too fast and too accurate for any defender to be able to defend that, unless they are literally already going up. I mean, you could say that there was maybe a little bit of an error on defense by not getting up quick enough, but I mean, once you're in that position, he was pretty much doomed. Now, Miracles are going to want to find that goal back. They're trying to get some offense going here. Fuego has to back off. Johnny looking for a bit of a bump here. Really just being that pest. Fuego maybe has a bit of time and possession here. 100 boost as well. Just going off for the flick, but gets dunked by Stewie. Tox is actually there. They finding Katamak in the center. What a beautiful save by Fuego. He did find the bottom of the corner right there. Now, Johnny Law just outplays one of the Outlaws attackers. They're trying to find a way to just get on offense. I feel like they've been on defense for eternity, and Katamak just trying to have none of that. Does get demoed. Big pinch coming out from Johnny Law. No one's really there to challenge the ball. Fuego trying to get some sort of 50, but Gatman, the ball goes past him. Doesn't kind of leave it for Johnny Law, who does have full boost. Maybe try for a solo play here, but it's going to get shut down by Stewie immediately. Maybe looking for a double tap. Gatman on the backboard just to shut it down immediately. And we're going into the last minute here. Miracles need a goal for the equalizer.
1 minute, flashes in front of the screen as Tox just trying to get it in the midfield. They want to double up their lead and take a 2-1 victory lap into game number 4, but instead, Johnny Law trying to keep the pressure. Fuego is going to look for Gatman, who gets called off because the offense is too pushed up. Johnny Law was up already, expecting a pass to the left, who's already up off the ceiling. I mean, this is some crazy stuff. He gets back to it, over to Gatman, but that's a huge beat by Stewie off the ceiling, but it's saved by Fuego. Stewie with a potential highlight reel shot there, if not cleared away. Fuego with the challenge in the air there. And so far right now, the Outlaws, as that's a crazy pass attempt potentially to Stewie. So far, the Outlaws are very happy to just be fighting in the midfield here, as that's a big demo. Fuego not only needs to make the save, but needs to get some momentum on this ball here, as this could be an opportunity. Gatman does keep it alive. I thought for sure that was down already, but it's killed, and the Outlaws are going to go into game number 4 with a 2-1 series lead here, and this could be huge, like you were saying, big major implications. And I don't know how the games are going to end out, but I would love to see these two play immediately in round number 1, because it's going to show which team has the better coaching, as they have film on each other immediately. But yeah, Outlaws picking up the dub here. Stewie with 0 for 6 on shots, but you know what? That pressure was just enough to get him the victory.
Yeah, it just sounds like Outlaws were just on offense all game. Like, it really just, it didn't seem like the Miracles had a chance to break out of their half that game. And, going into this next game, Miracles are fighting on match point now. Outlaws are up in the series 2-1. They're looking to close it out in 4 here. It just seems like Miracles are stuck on their half for so long that the Outlaws are just squeezing the Miracles to oblivion, and if they don't find a way out, it might just end in 4. Now, obviously they don't want that. If I feel like they just need to counterattack maybe a little bit more, secure the corner boost, maybe get a demo just to relieve some pressure. I mean, do anything they can to stop Stewie, Katamek, and Tox from squeezing them out of the series. Now, 30 seconds into this one, Tox trying to make a solo play. Does just shut down, but Katamek maybe looking for a double tap. He does find it! What a crazy angle! It looked like a nothing angle, but Katamek makes it happen.
I mean, great pass by Tox. Touches the ball on the left, touches the ball on the right. It's in your net. What a beautiful play. Outlaws 4.5 minutes away from taking the series, and Stewie is all smiles, as that was... I mean, I feel pretty comfortable in saying it, We do potentially have a lot of series left, but I'm going to say that that's the best goal I'm going to see all day. I love to see a clean double tap, and that was an absolute beauty here, as Katamek now, again, threatening off the sidewall, gets it down to Tox. Tox shot, it's cut off by 2, and Katamek not able to get a pass over to Stewie. Stewie trying to make some magic happen, but uses all the boost. Katamek again with an opportunity. That's a miss, but it's also off the post. Shut down by Johnny Law with a second chance opportunity. Stewie just shadowing under this ball here as Gatman is up. Tries to get it over to Fuego. Fuego with a soft touch. A pass down by Gatman. It's over to Johnny Law, who combines with Fuego and Gatman to almost get a goal, as I really like that opportunity, especially that pass by Johnny Law, but it ends up working out for nothing as Johnny Law gets a catch. Fighting past the defense, but doesn't get anything, as that's shut down by not 1, but 2 Outlaw defenders who are just grinding down this clock. Like you were saying, the Outlaws have had fantastic offensive pressure and a real stranglehold in this blue half, as Katamek just dancing, diving, carrying, gets the flip reset, but Fuego able to make the save. Double tap, Stewie, and these two are making magic on the field right now.
That's just a beautiful double tap. He recognized the space, a completely open backboard, and Stewie's going to take advantage of that every single time. Just basically a tap in for Stewie, and that's a doubling up their lead this early in the series. And with how much pressure they've had in these games, they are in a very comfortable spot to just keep pressure for the rest of this game. They don't even need to score goals, but if you're on the blue half, you can't score on the orange goal. So, finally, Miracles are actually on defense, but immediately Stewie just has a massive clear. Does land in the hands of Fuego, who's trying to find Johnny. Bit of an awkward touch. Maybe a bit of a double commit as well, but Gatman off the ceiling, maybe off the backboard as well. Looking for the double. 2 defenders commit. Tox has a great pop. And now Stewie off the backboard again. He's looking for it, but an excellent save by Fuego. Gatman there to collect the ball, maybe looking for maybe a bit of a dunk here, but Fuego does not find that boost. In fact, it's going to be Katamek who puts pressure on the ball immediately, gets a big dunk, and Stewie trying to find the back of the net, and it's going to be Tox that secures it.
Yeah, we were a little bit smoke screened. I said, who's there for the shot? And it will be Tox. Tox. Stewie gets 2 to go, and none find a save. Tox able to put it away, and with half the game left and a series lead, the Outlaws are looking to take this one up 3. And so far, this is an absolute clinic, as that's a huge dunk I thought was potentially in, which really could have shifted the tide of this game. But instead, the Miracles are going to have to go back to the drawing board as Katamek, if maybe had a little bit more boost, could have done a little bit more with that. Tox putting it in a dangerous spot, but it is saved. Gatman tries to get a bump on Stu, but nobody on the Miracles has any boost. Triple zeros, and that will cost you every time. Tox picking up a goal to put him up 4 here in game number 4.
I mean, it looked like an absolute dime across the field, but it was Tox on the other team who met him and just slaps it in. That's a 4-goal lead. This is almost unwinnable, but the Miracles are looking for a miracle. Still got time, you can still make it happen. And once you get that first goal, okay, well maybe I'll shut up. That's fine. My bad.
I blame you for that one, and I think that was on purpose because your original prediction was a 4-game series with the Outlaws taking it. And look at what we have here, Outlaws in a potentially unthrowable position in game number 4 as Stewie. I mean, if it wasn't over already.
Unthrowable position now. Let's see how strong the caster curse is. That's a great read as well. If that was at any other point in the game, I'm sure it would be screaming or losing our heads. But
right.
When you got 6 goals to 0, it becomes a little less impactful. But Johnny Law's still fighting. He's trying to find one here. Just kind of fizzled down to nothing. He's going to try pitching it. Gatman playing off the ceiling, maybe gets a nice bounce, but there's really no way to beat him. Fuego was a little late on the challenge, and Stewie actually does go missing. Johnny Log looking for the back of the net, he does find the backboard, and Tox is so quick on the read, doesn't even give the defenders or the attackers a chance to shoot the ball. Gatman just trying anything to keep it in their half. Fuego challenged the ball with no boost. Stewie is a little awkward, but does manage to get a nice touch into his corner. Does drain all of his boost though. Now Johnny Log looking for the bump on Tox, but Tox just flies high, and it's kind of a free clear here.
Yeah, and I would be a little remiss as Gatman finally getting him on the board. I'll get to that in 1 second. I would be a little remiss if I didn't give Stewie his credit. That was an excellent goal for the 6th one here. Like you were saying, it's just when you got a goal difference that large, you maybe don't get as excited. But Gatman just trying to, there's a pulse. There is life. There's only a minute left, but do we see a miracle here out of Minneapolis? Fuego just seeing what he can do. Can't get anything to go. Johnny Law trying to get a pass down, but it only finds Stewie down to Katamek, but can't get the pass down. That is a big commit there for the Outlaws, but Katamek going for the sidewall redirect. No juice on that one. Might have an opportunity here that is a double commit, and Fuego does get a shot here, but it's saved by Stewie, who's had an excellent series so far. Despite coming in cold, Outlaws almost doubling it in on their second half, as that's a huge bump, and that could potentially, if it wasn't already sealed, you might as well package it and ship it out. This one is over, and the Outlaws with an emphatic victory. Fuego. Ooh, okay. There's a lot of game left. You never know.
Winning it might be a little out of the question, but I think the biggest miracle we saw here is that they didn't get Braziled. So you call that a miracle.
That's true.
In some sense. They presented the Brazil, and they're putting up a good fight here. Why not pad the stats a little bit as well? You know what I'm saying? But Johnny Law just trying to fight till the very end. Oh wait, Fago actually is going to get one more. 3 goals in 14 seconds. I mean, this would be the most caster curse thing of all time. There's absolutely no way, right?
Yeah, I mean, imagine no one ever said unthrowable position. I mean, who says that? But with 14 seconds left, 3-goal difference, I still think the Outlaws are in a good situation. That being said, Gatman with an opportunity here. Fuego's going to have to cut despite having no boost. And as the final seconds tick down. There was a little bit of a chance with a few seconds left, but that will do it. Fuego dropping the GGs in the chat, and Katamak setting the tone early in this one with that double tap. Ended up being enough momentum to win them the series here in game number 4. And the Outlaws, with a great offensive output in a 4-game series, looking great, and they hope to continue that streak into the major next week.
That team looked really good, Outlaws. They looked real hot out there, and I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing a lot more of them. Hopefully next week, and looking forward to see where that puts them in the bracket. I don't know if that will put them up enough to overtake anybody, but I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon. And there's also tons of other matches going on right now, so throughout the day, as we get more of the standings update, I'm sure that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, what a game number 5 for Katamak, who I wouldn't say was the name we were saying the most in throughout the series. You know, Stewie, I would say, was scoring the most, and despite not only getting the 1 goal, it was such an important goal for the momentum. That first one in game number 4, 1 goal, 2 assists, 2 saves, and 3 shots. So a full stat sheet for Katamak, taking it home along with Stewie. And geez, I'm already forgetting, and Tox, of course. So they will win that one 3-1. And up next we have the Brainerd Victory and the Omaha Buffalo. That one should be really exciting. Buffalo, they did have a big win in the Challenger League yesterday. So Premier hoping, can they keep some of that momentum alive? Or can they keep the good vibes going in that organization, or will the Brainerd Victory shut that down? Bryant, Nate, and Cole looking to take that one against Notice, Likewise, and Fluffy. That one should be really exciting. Unfortunately, I won't be joining with that one, but I got to see 2 great series, 9 games of Rocket League. You can't complain. And what say you, Zoms?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great, it's always a pleasure casting with you. Although yesterday was, our first time, it feels like we've been doing this forever. It's such a blessing. Now I'm looking forward to these next 2 games, and there's a reason why. Do you know why?
Well, I believe that you are a certified member of the Brainerd Victory, if that's correct. However, I am not sure if there's anything specific in mind that you have. Maybe some, is there an internal or some beef between any players or something that I'm not aware of? What do you got?
All I'm saying, the best GM in all of the league, Bryant, will be playing. And we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see the unparalleled ball knowledge that went into crafting his team, and we get 2 back-to-back series of it. I mean, it's just gonna be a stellar.
That's true.
I mean, I might as well just say my predictions for both the series now. I won't, but you already know where I'm going with this. So
no,
yeah,
I don't. Fill me in.
I mean, oh man. I mean, let's just talk about it. I mean, Brian. Let's just be serious here. Probably the best player that we've ever seen touch the game. All right. We got Cole.
Yeah.
The absolute demon on the pitch. All right. And we might have Nate, who is, just an absolute fiend. All right, but I've been told that we got to go on break here. We'll be back with those 2 absolutely incredible games. Hopefully, I think I'll be here for the next one at the very least. So I'll see you then, and send you on break. Stay tuned.
Yep. That'll be all for me. Peace out, everyone.
I lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you. I've gotta go all the way through time and space if I'm ever to see you. And I'll go. Lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. I've gotta go all the way to eternity. I will run all the way to see you. I've gotta go all the way through time and space if I'm ever to see you. And I'll go. And I'll go. And I'll go. I lift my feet off the ground, let gravity take me up. As beautiful as it's been, it's time for me to go. I wanna sail away, I wanna feel the weightlessness of my soul. Won't you come over? Dying to know where you came from. We're breaking open. Feel like your future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away where no one knows. Let's run away together. together on love. Lead me into your
Hello, welcome back, everybody. Zoms, joined by AK here. We got our next match just around the corner. Brainerd versus Omaha. This is gonna be a crazy match, in my opinion. Two titans in my books. And this is one of the last matches that we'll see. I mean, we know that Brainerd still has 2 matches before the major, so this has big implications for seeding in Major 1. Now, AK, do you want to talk about the schedule? What do you want to talk about here? Oh no. Absolutely not. I'm the most unbiased caster there's ever been. Every single tier list I've ever made has been completely facts. I'm a ball knower. And, I mean, if you want to talk about, predictions, I mean, it's going to be a Brainerd sweep. But, anyways. I mean, obviously. Is there even another prediction you can have here? I'm kind of confused on where you're going here. Yeah. I respect that. Yeah, I can agree with that. They are definitely a good team, but when you're playing against a couple of beasts yourself, it's going to be quite hard. Now, getting into this series, we haven't really seen too much quite yet. Fluffy trying to find a teammate, but just over Nate. Bryant with full boost, just going for a sidewall redirect, because why not? He can do that if he wants to. Cole trying to match him. It's just been lots of pressure on back and forth so far. Nothing sustained quite yet, but likewise, he's maybe looking for a bit of an air dribble. Just lets it get away from him, and Nate into the corner. Very comfortable just playing in this corner here. Notice is trying to get the ball moving. It might be over Likewise's head. In fact, Cole might have a shot here. It's a bit of a zipper, but Likewise is there to put into the backboard.
Like, remember the first match we casted together yesterday? Do you remember what happened, like, the first, 30 seconds-ish, when we were both definitely talking? You remember any of that?
Pipe down low, bro. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, when
when I wasn't muted? Yeah, that definitely did not happen again.
All right. So, bit of deja vu here in MCS, and we had a first goal. I looked away. Of course it's the Brainerd victory getting a goal. Obviously. Nate, Bryant over to Nate. What a synergy right there. Perfect placement top right. Absolutely nothing you could do when Nate's on the field. And, 1-0 leader here. And, yesterday, we got our predictions all mixed up, but I think this time I'm pretty happy with where I stand.
I actually have not yet given my prediction officially because nobody heard it.
Oh!
Same again. So, yeah, but I think I'll stick with my prediction as I make sure that this is the first game. There is no scores, so just let me correct that real quick. But yeah, as I said, I like the Buffalo, and I want to see the series go to 5. That is what I said when I was muted, and I'll stick by it. And I just want to say thank you to the friends who made along the way that let me know that I was muted. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
As noticed, just whiffs in front of his net. Brainerd unable to follow up. This game already starting off with looking pretty even, I would say, no?
Yeah, that actually is looking pretty even, but we haven't seen much consistent, like, just nonstop pressure plays. I mean, I know we're getting into things, it's game one, but I'd really like Omaha just to, like, press down for as long as they possibly can before letting Brainerd get out and, like, you know, spread their wings again. It looks like they're kind of starting to do that here, honestly, keeping the Brainerd in their half here. But the problem is, Brainerd all have full boost. They really aren't being squeezed. They're honestly pretty comfortable being on their half as long as they, you know, look at the position. I mean, he's completely fine with just catching the ball, wasting time. Gets a demo, actually fires it off the post. He's going to fake it. Bryant is left in a bit of a spot here. He is last back, but he's just stalling so much time. Going to play for a 50. He's going to go high. Notice is going to just throw it near net. Cole is going to be there to meet him. Maybe tries to find a teammate. Does get over Fluffy, but Notice is there just to tap it around. Nate, maybe he's looking for a solo play. Fluffy is there to meet him, but no boost to really get a solid challenge. Actually does pretty well, though. Bryant into the corner. Going to have to back out for Cole, but Notice actually shuts it down. Nate is a little awkward here. Just going to bring it to the wall. Maybe try finding Bryant. Bryant does go missing, but that's classic. Cole into the corner here. No boost. What can he do? Trying to find it past Fluffy. Does pretty well. And, you know, the pressure's been back and forth. But Nate fires a shot off a shot right as I stop talking, and that doubles up the lead. Nate showing me why it's going to be a sweep.
You know, as the victories solidify the stranglehold in this game and just make the double up on their lead, I did get some interesting information from a secret source, but the Victory haven't played the first match. This is the Victory's first match, so they haven't played the second. But the Omaha Buffalo have, and they have won. And I'm hearing that in the 3-1 win, they were playing the Duluth Superiors in a team of Force, Calcer, and DJ. So that is a roster with 2 subs, and they got a game taking off them. So that is not really inspiring me with confidence for my prediction. But you know, that is why you make predictions. You just got to stick with it and hope for the best.
Okay. Sounds like you're real confident in your pick there, unlike me, who I 100% confidence. I never even had a single doubt in my mind. Look at Nate just going fly high, right over Likewise. Am I mistaken, or is Likewise also subbing up, or am I tripping right there?
No, Likewise is the second round pick for.
Oh yes,
for the Prem
I'm
team.
mixing it up with Who am I mixing that up with? It doesn't matter. I was wrong. I was just looking at the name. It looks familiar. But why would I know a Prem player? Am I right, guys? All right. Sorry, Bryant. Just keeping it safe here on the back wall. Actually, going to 50 out to maybe Cole. Cole gets an awkward touch, but it's Cole. He knows how to deal with this. Puts it over to Nate. Nate does get demoed for his efforts, though. Bryant just going to take as much time as he possibly can in this corner. Likewise, does maybe have a chance here. Throwing it up. Notice is there to meet him. Has a nice shot on goal, but Bryant does not get the better half of the ball, and it still goes in.
With 30 seconds left, the Omaha Buffalo finally gets some offensive luck, and something falls their way, unfortunately for Bryant. And 30 seconds left. I mean, that is a lot of time to get one goal. I mean, they haven't really shown much offense. I haven't really seen much threats for them. Like, I would say that was like probably a mistake from the Victory that gave them an opening. But hey, you have an opening now. You have a chance. Let's see what you can do. As there's still an offense, and Bryant, unfortunately, is a party pooper. And it probably takes game 1 for the Victory.
It kind of seems like every time Brainerd is on this offensive end, you know, they're getting really solid chances on goal. Just every time they're making sure to put, you know, if threatening shots on net, and just, it really does seem like Omaha's honestly been on the offensive. There's almost this whole game, but hold on. They might have a chance to bring this back. With only 8 seconds left, they get a kickoff goal. And they're only down 1 here, AK. Maybe some magic can happen in 8 seconds here.
I feel like some info got leaked. You know, AK, you know, he's got to get the replays for the after stream replays. You know, let's go some last minute goals to mess him up. I feel like that's what's going on here. I don't let's end the game early, guys. Come on. It doesn't have to be, you know, a nail biter. As this ball just falls in front of the net, and the Victory take game 1.
Now, I was never worried there for a second. You know, I might have, you know, I was trying to spruce it up for a little drama, you know, for the people, but I was never worried. Look who's on. Nate dropping 614 points. That's 2 goals and 3 saves. That's just outstanding shots up there. That's 66% shooting accuracy. That's pretty good, I'd say. You know, Brainerd starting off real hot here for the start of the series. This is just the beginning, though. Omaha did show signs of life in the end of this game here. And I would like to see them continue with that pressure, because I feel like if they keep as much pressure as they did during that game, I mean, we saw 8 saves. I think it was 8, maybe it was 7 saves coming out from Brainerd, you know, and we finally saw, you know, a slight mishap on the goal line, which led to, you know, them actually getting that first goal. And I feel like if they can just keep that pressure, mistakes will happen eventually. And you know, going into this game 2 here, I think Omaha can look up. I think they can look up. Be happy at how that last game, you know, ended. Maybe not started, but how it ended. And they're gonna try turning that into maybe a game win.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope they can find some more luck. In addition to what they were getting as an infield pass from Nate, almost finds its way to Cole and the net. Omaha able to get it away. But yeah, Omaha's offense is slowly but surely heating up. Slowly but surely just trickling forward inch by inch. I don't know if that is enough. And I think you said...
What I say?
You know, I lost my train of thought. I just...
I'll tell you what I said. I'll tell you what I said. AK, I said it's going to be Brainerd in a sweep in 3, baby. That's Brian already on the board in 30 seconds. What can I say? The ultimate ball knower.
You know, Zoms, the reason I was speechless, I'll be honest, I thought Brian owned gold. And the reason for that is, like, he was the last one on that side of the field, and he just hit it into the open net. I genuinely just thought he owned gold. As Cole actually owned goals. Yeah, I was just surprised that nobody from Omaha was just back, and I thought Brian was just putting the ball in the back of his net. That's why I was just absolutely speechless. Thankfully for him, it was just an open net, got a goal. Unfortunately for him, Cole decided, you know, let's actually own goal. AK thought we owned gold, we actually didn't, now we actually will.
He's just taking pity. He's just taking pity, AK, come on.
Yeah. I know that's good for my prediction, at least, you know. It's even, only a minute gone. Omaha Buffalo looking a little bit more organized, a little bit more structured. As Fluffy and Cole just flick past the ball, giving it to Brian, who flicks over one, likewise able to get the save and another touch over 2.
Yeah, you know, Omaha, they are at least getting goals. You know, it would be really disheartening if they did all of that attacking and just ended up with nothing. But they are finding their chances, even if it was, you know, once again, a mistake on the goal line. And it's going to happen. Bryant trying to make something of nothing there. He's backwards on the ball. Cole gets a crazy touch. He ends up turtle. That's a new mechanic. Write that one down. Nate has to play shadow defense here. Does get a nice save, but it's going to be popped up maybe for Likewise. Likewise trying to drop it down onto the goal. Cole is there to beat him. Going to be a double off the backboard. Does get an outplay on Fluffy, but Notice is going to be first to the ball. Maybe has a bit of a chance. He's going to send it high off the backboard. Likewise, trying to make something. What a crazy pass to Fluffy. Fluffy is going to slot that every day of the week, and Bryant just could not have the boost or the momentum or the vision to save that one.
And Omaha Buffalo will have their first lead of the series. As unfortunately, miscommunication, a little bit of disorganization on the Brainerd defense just allows Fluffy's space to just slot that, and slot that he did. And hopefully they can continue on this path and just keep building on this. As there's a demo on the back line, Nate able to get it away, give them space, fakes it for Cole, who was unable to put the shot away, unfortunately, as Fluffy is one-on-one with Bryant. Goes into the corner around the sidewall, just awkwardly, but not really dangerous for the Brainerd victory.
Cole still getting into this one. Got lots of time, you know, so half this game left. Brainerd are going to be looking to get on the attack here. Bryant maybe has a chance here. Just a weird pop over to Nate. Nate trying to maybe find the backboard, but Likewise is actually there to meet him. Cole maybe gets another chance here. Slots it in the middle of the goal with confidence. That's a better shot from Cole.
Yeah, and the victory tie it up here in game 2. I'm just looking at the face cams here, and like all 3 members of the victory just look absolutely stoic. I mean, to be fair, as does Likewise, but they look like they're having fun, which is what you want in a team. They're only 1 game to the good, but them having fun and smiling in the cams with a game that's tied, that tells you their confidence is already up.
Yeah, I think you know, just being, you know, positive in a team atmosphere is just, and especially in a team-oriented game like Rocket League, it is such a boost. it doesn't even make sense. I feel like if you are in a good mood in Rocket League, you are playing 3 times better. And looking at those player cams, they are laughing it up. They're just having fun. You know, Bryant and Nate, you know, actually teaming from last season. You know, they're homies. You know, Cole filling in nicely. I mean, this is just a team. You know, a lot of people say, oh, a good vibes team, a good vibes team. This is a team of monster mechanics and good vibes. And those two things put together, it's going to be a beast of a team. And trust me, Bryant is going to be here to prove me right here.
I mean, I hope so for your franchise's sake. You know, I'm not really hopeful for your franchise. I've been hearing a lot of negative things.
Hey.
I think the only positive
Hey.
for your franchise, honestly, is probably your Rising Star team. Your Challenger and Prem teams looks like they're on the ropes. And long may that continue. Did Notice save that? I think
Notice might have saved that. He may or may not. Shaq, can we get a 1 if you'd saved that? I couldn't really tell. Thanks, guys. All right.
Yeah, as the Omaha Buffalo is feeling bad for the victory and just saving their own shots. That's your franchise. It's just pity as Nate whips in the corner. Brian with low boost, able to get it away. Gets that boost to spawn for him. And Nate just pops it to Likewise. And the Omaha offense comes back again. Brian able to just play time. And every time I watch the victory, it's just astounding to me how consistent Brian is. And I don't mean to glaze, you know. I don't really mean to. And like for somebody who got picked as highly as he did, or like got auto drafted, his salary tells a story of how good he is. I get that. But even there's other high end Prem players who are not as solid as Nate. Gives Brainerd the lead with 20 seconds left. And if you're an Omaha fan here, what do? Do you pull out a kickoff strat? Like, because you need this game. You can't go down 0-2. You can't be staring down the barrel of a sweep.
And 19 seconds left. It seems like it really does seem like Brainerd has been comfortable on defense this whole game. I feel like they needed to maybe try something crazy right there, and that it's just going to be back into this defense. It just looks so hard for Brainerd to crack. And Omaha are going to try. Notice into the corner here. He's going to have, this might be the last play, but Nate is already up to get it. One last just pesky touch. Not going to be comfortable for Omaha to keep that up. And we're looking pretty likely to go into, you know, maybe a sweep here. Brainerd looking really confident. I will say, though, Omaha did keep this one close right into the very end. And they when they were in offense, you know, although they weren't having, you know, it felt like they had a lot of chances that slipped by. If they could take more of those chances and slot them, or, you know, continue the pressure, or maybe find a teammate in the midfield, I think they'll do a lot better. But I mean, we also saw that one, you know, it seems like when the Brainerd are making bad mistakes, are the only times that Omaha are scoring. I need to see them. I mean, they had that one incredible double tap off the ceiling, like that pass. I think from Likewise, that pass was absolutely insane. But I want to see more passing plays. I want to see more, you know, infield, maybe bumps, maybe a demo. They just need something to break through this Brainerd stoic defense.
I agree with every word you said, Zoms. And I think if you're an Omaha fan, from Omaha POV, like you can't be making it as easy as you are for the victory here. You have to put up more of a fight. You have to put up more challenges, especially on your back half. Like that, I think that midfield challenges have been pretty solid. Actually, it's just on the back half they're just hesitating, or just like letting the victory have too much space as Bryant able to get the ball away. Classic stat pad save. Not surprised.
All right. Listen, don't you dare diss my goat, Brian. Come on now. And they're almost on the other end. I'm going to get a goal, but they just notice heroically dodges the bump, but Fluffy has a misread in the corner. Is going to be able to get the ball out. Likewise, has maybe a chance here to find a teammate in the middle. He does try going for the solo play. Opts for the solo play again instead of finding the teammate in the middle. And I feel like those are the moments where maybe if we incorporate more team play, they could maybe have better shots at net. Maybe just opt out for that time. Likewise, going down the field again. Big air dribble. Opts to play for maybe the 50. Actually finds Fluffy on the side here, but Fluffy has no boost. Opts to try and find a demo. Bryant just air dribbling it wide. Notice does meet him, but Nate is actually on the sidewall to catch it. Looking for maybe a dunk here. Likewise, does dodge it. Cole keeping the pressure, just keeping the ball in the orange half, but Notice bangs it out. Trying to find maybe Likewise. Likewise going for a crazy read. Couldn't quite find it. Nate's there for a save. Fluffy takes a pot shot, but Bryant once again is there. Fluffy actually has a crazy dime mid. Notice is there to catch it, but he has no boost to continue the offense. Likewise, does collect the ball, air dribbling high, has a little bit of boost here, does have the reset, plays by round 1, but Cole, it just seems like their defense is so structured. Even when they play it past 1, maybe 2 players, there's just another person there to save the shot.
Yeah. That you picked the perfect words. Structure. Brainerd's defense is so structured compared to the Buffalo that it's being the difference, because every time the Buffalo come forward, like every challenge is intentional from the victory. They know they have a player back, so they force something for that player to be able to follow up. Even when they get bad 50s like that, there's always somebody ready to respond. Always. And when the Buffalo are on defense, there's one person back like this, and Brian goes for the bump, and they unable to get it in. But the Buffalo's defense is just so much more staggered, and I think it's forcing them to pay the price right now. Having said that, they have not conceded in game 3 as they look for a goal, almost get one. Cole elects not to challenge low, and pays for not challenging early there, as likewise is able to get it over him to give Buffalo the lead.
I think that might have been a mistake, not jumping up to give his time. The thing the Brain have been so good at good defensively is that first player just forcing out the touch. They're getting the ball off of the player, and that time Bryant just did not have enough time to react to the shot because it was just so close to the goal. And it did result in a goal and a lead for Omaha, which we haven't seen for maybe 10 minutes. It's an exciting start for Omaha if they're looking to get back in the series. Now they have to hold it now. It's only 1 goal, and there's still half the game for Brainerd to claw their way back in the series. Now Nate just pops the ball down, actually going to be noticed to meet him, but Cole does get a decent challenge. Nate, it's a bad touch mid. Fluffy's going to have a free chance here, and yeah, that was just a missed touch from Nate, and Bryant left on the goal line, tries his best, but really could not do much right there.
Yeah, and if you're the Buffalo, you do not care how your goals come. 2 goals coming from 2 misplays by the victory, but the Buffalo don't care. They're 2 goals to the good. Now their defense needs to show some structure. You can go for goals, but just don't concede 2. I know, like, I'm just making it sound easy, and it's obviously not that easy. Having said that, at this level, I would expect some level of structure in your defense, and I think they are more than capable. As they get a third here, yes, and that likewise shot just from midfield, just able to just stroll in as the victory just over aggresses to trying to force a goal.
Yeah, Brainerd got a taste of their own medicine here. Really just found the gap and just shot it downfield. And Brainerd trying to maybe get a little bit too aggressive here. I know they're down 2 in this series, and that's probably the first time they've been down that much, but getting that aggressive at a time like this, it was too much, and I'm not gonna lie, the Brainerd style has been, playing on the back foot and just finding your chances, taking your chances, and when they've been, trying their best to just like force the plays, they have not been doing the greatest with trying to force it. Now here we go, Nate maybe trying to find an open net, but Notice is easily able to force that away, and maybe Bryant gets another chance here, but Fluffy just once again easily just puts that away. Notice trying for a 50, and likewise, it just seems like the pressure is always for Omaha, and Brainerd are going to have a hard time finding 3 goals when they have no pressure.
Yeah, they will, and I think I've been focusing a lot on the Buffalo just to try and just mind game them through this, like just try and will them through how to come back from this with my infinite wisdom. But from the victory's POV, I think that falling to the same traps the Omaha Buffalo were in the first game, especially. Maybe not so much the second game, where the defensive structure is just non-existent. Which is surprising from a team that has Brian RL on the team. Because defense first is something you would expect for them, as they get lucky there, as Fluffy's shot does not go in from the inside of the post. And the Buffalo just absolutely just stuffing them with shots back to back to back, not getting out of the blue half. Cole able to get it out with an air dribble. Does not get it over one, as this game will trickle to a Buffalo win as they look for one more to close it out.
Yeah, Omaha did a great job cleaning up that third man and like just the structure, like you were saying, and it just seemed like they had a backbone this game, and it wasn't just, like the second they started a counterattack to get scored on. This game, it seemed like even when they maybe lost some of that pressure, it does seem like that pressure was sustained for far longer, and they actually were like draining the Brainerd's boost multiple times. And because of that, the Brainerd were making really, it's like kind of silly mistake that they really never made. And Omaha took full advantage of that. They honestly played a perfect series, or a perfect game here. And they win it 3-0, taking us to game 4. Looks like I wasn't quite on the money with the sweep, but Brainerd, I still like their chances here. They just got to read lock, reload, go into the next game here, and just play how they did in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, as we look at the replays from that series, it's just pretty much open nets for the victory, with a lot of overextending from open nets for the Buffalo, with a lot of overextending from the victory. And I think the one good thing you would expect from players at this level is that they will not be phased by one game. They will readjust. They will see what was wrong, change it, and go again, completely forgetting about the first match, the match that just happened, and just be better this time. And I expect the victory will probably adjust, and I hope the Buffalo can keep up with whatever adjustment the victory make. Based on the first 2 games, they weren't able to, but they just showed that they can compete at this level, and I'm happy that at least we saw that from them.
Yeah, they really stepped it up that game, and I think if both these teams are, playing at that level that we just showed, this is gonna be. I could honestly see it still going to 5 here, and maybe even being a potential for. But Brian has none. Oh my goodness! What a save by Likewise. I was about to say Brian had none of that, about an air dribble to the top corner, but Likewise with a heroic save. Now it's already high-flying offense this game. Cole looking for maybe a double off the sidewall. Could not quite find it. Fluffy off the opposing backboard. Does find a bump at the very least. Notice just going to send it high, but Nate is there just to catch the ball very calmly. Brings it to the sidewall. Kind of lets it get away from him. Likewise does have a free chance, but it does high. Bryant for the stat pad. Love that. And it looks like we're warming back into this Omaha pressure that we saw all last game.
Yeah, and they just look confident on offense now, which was not something we've been seeing, but it's awesome to see. Like, they just look extremely confident. Look at that pre-jump pass. 2 Likewise by Notice. They weren't doing that in the first couple of games. Even that, Fluffy was pretty much the last man, but he jumped with that with so much confidence that he knew, like, it didn't matter that he was last, he had that ball. And they were pretty hesitant in the first few games, and now their confidence is starting to build up. And I think this is scary for if you're a Victory fan. Having said that, we have seen them come back from far more against, I would say, much better teams. And that's not me talking bad about the Buffalo. I think just both the standings and games we have watched prove that there's teams better than the Buffalo that we have watched the Victory put up a fight against. So they're not out of it yet, as Notice almost sneaks one around Nate. Nate able to get back. And
yeah, Likewise, like we were saying, I think Omaha, like Brainerd have fought against harder, like tougher teams, but it's the very start of the season. Omaha, we're getting into those middle phases where this Omaha team might have honestly, we don't know yet. I mean, look at that crazy infield pass. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was just about to say, I think maybe this Omaha team has evolved maybe throughout this series, but I mean, Omaha finding a crazy infield pass. I mean, Fluffy was basically on top of Cole right there. Cole didn't even know he had a threat, and it's just in the bottom left corner of your net. Good luck saving that one, let alone getting a piece of it.
that was absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna say Likewise planned all that. He knew where Fluffy was, and he was a pass, and he wasn't just shooting that. But Fluffy just has to get all the credit for that. That was an amazing cut to get around Cole, both Cole's car, and then put it around all the way into the back corner of the net. Like that was beautiful. That was definitely shot of the day so far.
Of the day?
Of the day, yes. That was actually
some pretty nice goals.
I agree, but I think like it may look like a basic shot, but like how difficult it was to get around Cole's car and then just put it into the net. At least in my opinion. I mean, in my amazing rising star opinion, I think it was shot of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know anything about Rising Star, but yeah, no, I mean, obviously that was extremely high level. If that was how he chalked it up and planned it, that was absolutely incredible, no doubt in my mind. But the more importantly, that is an Omaha lead in Game 4, and Brainerd do not want to be looking down the barrel of a reverse sweep. They want to close it out right here. And we're looking like, bro, no, Bryant, my glorious king. You can't break a rule 1. That's cursed. That is absolute devastation. Oh,
Yeah.
no, take it away from me. Oh.
Yeah, that was painful to watch, and hopefully the victory loses painfully, badly, but you know, it's okay. I don't even know why I'm saying that. I'll be honest, I would break it to you. It's okay. Like, rule 1s are overrated, Brian. That is perfectly fine. No one cares.
I care. I'm a little hurt, but it's okay. Bryant is such a beast that he can just overcome it. Looking for an arrow jump down the field. Actually gets a nice 50, but it's going to be Likewise to come out with it. Just booms it down to maybe Notice. Notice trying to find the back of the net. He does. Past 2 defenders. This is the infield passing that I was talking about earlier that we weren't seeing before. And now with confidence, Likewise off the ceiling to find Notice in the center. Slams it in past Nate. Nothing he could really do about that. That's a 2-goal lead. Only about 90 seconds left in this AK. Hey, are we going to game 5?
We just might, Zombs. We just might. We have seen a lot of sweeps this season. We have seen a lot of reverse sweeps. We have seen a lot of failed reverse sweeps. So I am really excited how this game 5 will be if we get there, which it seems like we are. Because all of this game, 4 minutes into this match, we have not really seen the victory of offense as Brian almost gets a sidewall, unable to finish it up. But again, the offense is just not really there. Then they're just too staggered. Which is not the worst thing in the world, but you just have to be playing for each other. And they're just not... Did Brian just backflip and nobody else was behind him to cover? Or that ball just rolls into an open net?
He opted to not go for that ball, and he just... The way he half-flipped was the wrong way, and he just was left a little bit out of position. Likewise, able just to slam it in the bottom of the net right there, and 3 goals. It's looking like we're going to game 5. Not where I expected. But maybe your prediction will somehow end up being correct. I thought I was on a trail of success here, but Omaha really proved me wrong. That's got to be the dagger. Notice puts their team ahead by 4, and going into game 5. Brainerd need to step it up. They need to bring back their roots, from games 1 and 2. They got to bring that back. Whatever they lost in games 3 and 4, maybe it was because of Omaha pressure, but they need to find it quickly. Maybe use the rest of this game just to try out something. Maybe test something out in the last 30 seconds here, because this game's a wash. You're not winning this one. Just, get through your head. And Notice makes it 5.
And Likewise, having the time of his life in the hams. And Zoms, I think it's a little disrespectful for you to say your prediction may somehow come true. Zoms, I know ball. When I say that the Omaha Buffalo will win this in 5, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen the script. I have seen it.
AK might not know any ball. Let's be real, buddy. Let's be real. But I mean, here we go. Brainerd trying to just find a way back here. Bryant just maybe going for a psycho. Okay, we almost got the first touch. Almost there, halfway there. Cole, I'm just looking forward to the next game. Let's just get to the next one here. This is just, they're just playing Rocket League to pad the stats at this point. This one was not the greatest for the stats on the Brainerd side, but on the Omaha side, I mean, let's look at these. Notice obviously got the MVP here, but I mean, we saw, I think, 4 assists from Likewise. I mean, just the ultimate enabler. Look at that, 4 assists. That's almost every single. He was a part of. He had 100% goal participation right there.
Yeah, and if you're Brian in the victory, I don't know how you found yourself here, but you got to lock in. You got to do what you need to do to just put the last 2 games out of your mind and push through and get a win somehow. Because if you do not, you may be getting added by certain individuals. It's okay.
Don't worry, Brian is the GOAT. He, I don't think I've said this yet. This whole entire series. Brian's the best GM. He has unlimited ball knowledge. Come on, lock in, Brian. We need you to step up here. I know what you're thinking right now. My teammates need thumbs. Listen, calm down, buddy. This is a team game here. Listen. I'm in the brain of Bryant right now, and I think I need him to step up as that first round player, as the 3rd overall pick of the entire draft. I think it was somewhere in there, and I want to see more. I want to see more offense. I want to see, it's this whole time it seems like they've been stuck in their box. They haven't really been able to move and spread their wings. I want to see Bryant really push it, be the spearhead to get out of their half and really just start some offense, because we've been seeing defense all 4 games. I want to see some offense.
And I think just to push it to the Victory's POV, the Buffalo's POV. A lot of team names, unfortunately, and it's hard to remember. But as I always will remember to turn the music off. The Omaha Buffalo, they found something in the last 2 games. So whether it's a weakness of the Victory or a strength of theirs, and they just gotta keep pressing on that button and continue doing what they've been doing. As Notice gets a pass to Likewise. We'll call it a pass. Honestly, at this level, Zombs, things happen, and I can't really, in good faith, call it whiffs, because obviously these guys know what they're doing 99% of the time. Which is why that Likewise pass to Fluffy, that's why I called it play today, because I can only assume it's all calculated. As this game 5 just starts off a bit cagey, both teams not wanting to make a mistake as Cole puts a shot on net. Notice able to put it over. And both teams looking cagey, getting pop shots as Brian tries a sidewall read. And so far, both teams' offense looks like it's showing up. Now, will their defense stay structured is the question, as Nate is able to get it over one. Fluffy gets it out and over. And Braden's offensive push continues, as this might be an open net. Nate able to get back in time as Likewise unable to put it into the net. And
that was almost a chance for the Omaha. I mean, it came out of nowhere, and Fluffy is actually going to find that chance and find the top right of the net. I mean, it seems like, Brainerd, I was about to compliment them, how they've been finally getting on the offensive half and having some real solid chances. They had 3 shots that just, maybe could have been slightly better, or, maybe extend the pressure for quite a bit longer. But Omaha now are the ones that only had 1 or 2 chances, and they took it.
They have indeed, and there's still a lot of time to go. It's only 1 goal, so the Victory is not defeated as Brian gets one over. Notice gets a shaky touch, but it gets out as Fluffy tries to getting one more touch, fakes it for Likewise, and Notice unable to put it in. The pressure is still on, as Notice will put it back across. Fluffy able to put it away. Brian gets a good save, and Omaha's offense just looks like it just looks unstoppable.
Looks like they're having a really hard time breaking out of the Brainerd, just having such a hard time getting out of their half. I mean, even when the Omaha are double committing or making a mistake, it seems like there's just 1 more player to, cover it. That one, I mean, Likewise goes high, but Notice is here to meet him. This might be a good chance for Nate to maybe get something started. He's looking for a pass. Bryant might be there, but it gets shut down by Fluffy. Likewise, it's the next one on the ball. He's just going to turn it around on the dime, and Bryant taking this back. He wants the 100 boost. He might have got too greedy right there. Actually got himself demoed. Cole and Nate both go whipping. Notice is going to just shoot in the open net.
Zombs, and sometimes there's just no words. Sometimes you just gotta watch and let the play speak for itself.
I'm very sad right now, but it's okay. 2 goals, 2 minutes. They got plenty of time. They need to figure something out. They do bring the ball over to Bryant in the corner. Bryant is going to be looking for something. Does get a reset, but gets shut down so quickly by Notice. Nate needs to find the back of the net. He just whipped the ball. It's a massive fake, perhaps, and Cole does find the net. Now, was the placement good? No, but it's in the goal. Now, this was intentional fake, maybe, and definitely an intentional bump by Bryant, and Cole slots it in the goal. That cuts down the lead in half. They still got 2 minutes to figure this out, and we got a game here, AK.
Beautiful fake by Nate. Good bumps by Brian. All calculated, of course, and the shot was good enough because it went in the net. That is all you needed. As Omaha tries getting it back immediately, as Fluffy will try and put this on net. And Zombs, I don't really know what to think of the Victory, because they looked so comfortable and so consistent and looking for each other, their touches to each other, their touches to space. Everything looked so good in games 1 and 2, and then it just all vanished. Now, we could just give credit to the Buffalo and say, hey, they just adjusted and they just suffocated them in all the wrong things. That ball, Brian able to save a shot from Notice that should have been in. And they're just giving away too many free goals. as Nate unable to get that boost will slow down the offense. And I don't. I think we give the Buffalo a little bit of credit, but I don't know what the victory changed. But whatever they changed is just not being in their favor. I don't know if they just.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to figure it out pretty quick here because they only got about a minute left here, and Brainerd are down 1, and this is them looking down the barrel of the reverse sweep. They need to do something right now. 45 seconds. Notice it's just pushing the ball, barreling it down the entire field. No boost. Brian just collect the 100. He's gonna bring it across his box, and he gets punished for it. Fluffy is gonna power it in the goal. That's just so risky by Brian. He just didn't need to do it right there, and it just didn't quite bounce how he wanted. He flipped away from the ball instead of getting behind it, and that's going to be in his goal. It's 2-goal lead. You know, they worked so hard to cut it down to a 1-goal lead, and now it's back to being a 2. Maybe they get a kickoff goal here. This is actually a pretty good chance. Likewise, just does a great job controlling the ball and putting it back on a Note's hood.
Yeah, Thompson, as the series just looks to be winding down, the last 3 games have just. Yeah, if you're a Victory fan, you do not want to watch these back. You do not. I think you'll just, as the Buffalo continue to stat pad. Yeah, I think if you're a Victory fan, you just wanna just move on. I don't wanna speak about a trade window.
Yeah,
I don't want to preempt anything, but just move on. Go next. You know, there's always the major, and you know maybe you do better then.
Brainerd did not eat good in week 3 for any league, to be honest. And we're just looking to, get into that major. Almost an insane bench from Likewise. That would have been crazy. But looks like this game is basically done. It is over. I concede. Looks like you are the ball knower in this occasion, AK.
AK knows the ball.
And yeah, what do I say? I mean, you got the prediction right. And this game, I mean, what happened?
I think what happened was Notice, Fluffy, and Likewise realized a lot of people are saying we're a bad team. A lot of people have a lot to say about our roster and how good or bad it is. And this is our opportunity on stream to show up. They saw themselves 2 goals down, and they showed up. I'm going to give full credit to them. No point talking about the misfortune of the victory when we can talk about the fortune of the Buffalo. Well played to them. And yeah, Zamson, unfortunately for your franchise, it's just on the losing end of a reverse sweep. That is unfortunate.
What I'm really curious about is, this was the first game for Brainerd, and we have another game for them on stream. So will this maybe affect their mental going into the next game? Like, I personally, for me, it would. Now, what do you think, AK?
Zams, I don't know. I honestly don't know because they started off strong, so maybe they just lock into how they started, and that's how they continue onto that series and maybe regain a little bit. But they play in less than 10 minutes. Like, that's not really much time to really reset from a reverse sweep, and it's just not. Yeah, I don't want to leak my prediction, but it's not looking hopeful as I bring it back to us, Zams. That was unfortunate for your franchise.
Okay, we always regain. The Brainerd always regain. This is already the best, franchise or the best showing Brainerd victory has ever had in any season. I just want to put that out there. We're regaining, but we're actually going to get to see them play against Des Moines Derecho next. Now, these are 2 teams that I rated very highly at the start of the season. Now, where do I stand with this now? I'm trying to maybe cook up a quick prediction because I don't think I'll be here for the next season. I think I'll be gone. Let me look at this the standings, how these teams are currently doing. Has Des Moines already played a series? How did they do today?
Des Moines lost to Minneapolis in Game 5.
All right, getting word that Des Moines lost in 5 as well. So both these teams going into the last series of the day, and they both lost in Game 5. So actually, I don't think I think that'll help Brainerd a little bit as well because they're not the only ones with that in the back of their mind. So it'll be an interesting one. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Thompson. Just from a Des Moines POV, I don't think they've played, and if they have, I mean, it seems like their match time has passed, so I haven't seen the score reports. But I don't know if they've won or not, but I think if they had any chance to watch any of that, they will be licking their lips at playing this. Actually, the Des Moines DeRatio lost in 5 against the Minneapolis Miracles. Even still, I think they'll be licking their lips at the prospect of playing this Brandon Victory team.
I think just the fact, like, knowing that you aren't, like, you're going to be playing another team that also just went through the same thing, it kind of, you know, eases the nerves a little bit. Versus, you know, if you just got reverse swept and you're playing a team that just, like, swept someone, like, that's like, oh, that's a bit of pressure. But I think they're going to be pretty confident here. But only time will tell.
Only time will tell. And time is not that long, only a few minutes. Right after this break, we will see if the Brandon Victory are able to recover from getting reverse swept today. We'll be back shortly.
Let's move those feet. Let's move those feet. I'm just trying to get out of my mind at this point. I'm just trying to get out of my mind at this point. I'm just trying to get out of my mind at this point.
stuck inside of these walls with you. I don't recognize who I've turned into. I'm losing hope in getting myself back. Everything around me is starting to turn black. Don't tell me you're hurt again. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how it's all my fault. Yeah, I've met my match again, starting from scratch again. Where is the pleasure in all this pain? Don't you lie to me. Say it's all okay when it feels like I'm drowning. I hate to say goodbye, but it's time to go. All I need is someone I've never felt more divided than now. Every word that leaves your lips never means how it sounds. You've conquered the best of me, could have just set me free. Games that you play are just second hand. Now I'm beside myself, don't want your fucking help. Let me just go, let me just go. And don't you lie to me. Say it's all okay when it feels like I'm drowning. I hate to say goodbye, but it's time to go. All I need is someone else.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ori and myself are going to watch some incredible Rocket League. We just saw the Brainerd victory. Oh man, it was a tough series to watch, but they did in fact get reverse swept by the Omaha Buffalo. Sad to see that, but Ori, your team is next up. Pretty much they decided to sign the contract that says, you know, they're next on the list for Brainerd, but with Brainerd's loss, it does not help their major hopes. It pushes them farther down the sheet. But for Omaha, that's a big win for them because that moves them up the sheet. And with that, I gotta actually check where they are now because they're not in. They started the day in 13th. They're all the way up to 8th with that win.
Yeah, big. Like a lot of teams, if Des Moines put away a win here, they'll be at the top of those 15-point teams due to the game differential.
Mm-hmm.
Ending, they had a game rescheduled.
They did, I believe. Yeah.
Pending their other match, which means they could go up to 20 or they could stay at 10. Big moves, and it's the same way right now, especially at the beginning of the league. We've only really had matches been going on for a month. But if we went by other seasons where it wasn't a doubleheader every week, we would be around 2 months in the season with how many games have happened. Already at the end of today, pending rescheduled matches, should be 6 matches, 6 games in the season so far. And there's that leaves a lot of close competition, which is why these games matter so much, because you go into that first major, and then it really starts to really separate from each other, because you get so many more points. You can get so many more points than the other team. Instead of just getting 10, where you have one team lose to and one team win to, you can get more than that because how the point differential is. So.
Yeah. And obviously, this is our last match of the night. Brainerd taking on Des Moines. This is, You know, it's gonna be a fun time for sure because these teams obviously fighting for kind of the middle of the pack, not necessarily, but yeah, it's as you could say, they could possibly play each other. But yeah, this is our fourth and final match of the night, and should be a blast. I'll give you a recap later on, but Brainerd with the loss are down to the 10th seed, and Des Moines are actually 9th at 2-2, and I don't think their match has been reported, so there's a chance they could move down, but yeah, we're getting right into it.
Right in the swing of things, yeah.
Game number 1, gonna load on up. I am actually gonna go with your Des Moines derecho because you are obviously the the GM of the Des Moines derecho nowadays. So I'm gonna go with the Des Moines derecho on this one.
Yeah, I really like my team. I really like how drafted when I really like the players I got. Wesley, traded him for Mamba. So far, it's been going pretty well. Big double commit.
Is there music?
Started off though, they do maintain defense, and yeah, I also I think that the mental fatigue of that happening on stream. I definitely know how that feels. It happened, I think, last week to me or 2 weeks ago. Not the best feeling. So I think that'll definitely have an impact on their play, regardless of how experienced these players are. It's always just not fun to lose them that way on stream, but we'll see.
Yeah, and obviously both teams coming off of Game 5 losses. I think Cole's going to have that clear away, but I think Brainerd's loss is a little bit more heartfelt because they had full control of this series and they lost 3 straight games to an Omaha team that has not exactly been the, kings of this Premier League so far at the start of the season. And so Omaha, though, rattle off 2 wins today and go 2-0 against 2 pretty dang good teams. One of them, I think, though, had a couple subs, so maybe a different story another day. But that last win they had was against a full Brainerd victory roster that you see here that, against this Des Moines team should be playing a lot of defense. It's a Rachel roster. Conglomerated of 3 players that I think are going to play really well with each other.
Yeah, I just think that a lot of what they were telling me too, especially since their first week playing together, that's a good pass midfield, but it's blocked away. Their first week playing together started it didn't with the roster change. They were mainly talking about how there's a lot of potential, but they just needed time to play together, and I think they've had that time. Ubik, good 1v1 opportunity, but it's blocked away by Cole. And I think that given how they have been playing, and the fact that if they do get a win here, they do put themselves in a, not the best spot, but a pretty decent spot going into that Major 1. And I think this is a team that I feel like, regardless of bias aside, has a lot of potential to pop off in those majors. Wubik, whenever he plays in a tournament, seems to just brings out a different form of his game. You see him in lands and majors and tournaments, usually placing really high. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, and I did update the standings. Omaha with the Des Moines loss, Omaha is in 9th. Minneapolis actually does jump a spot over top of Omaha. So Brainerd currently in 11th at 2-3, and Des Moines in 10th at 2-3. They're separated by game differential. Des Moines has that edge by basically 2 games. So this is actually huge because a sweep here for either team would tell a different story. Is Wubik kind of just carries the ball over the entire defense.
It was pretty quiet, Gabe. There was a couple shots, couple good attempts on net. Wubik caught the defense overcommitted in his corner, realized he had that space, decides to pop it up, take it in the air, realized those players didn't have much boost left from that attack, and is able to air dribble it right into the crossbar. And maybe another follow-up here from him off the kickoff. 2 crossbars in a row. They're not able to find a second goal. Mamba got a little bit of field low boost. They're retreating on defense. Maybe a chance for victory to equalize. Still in their own half. Wubik's pinch blocked away. Goes dangerously out in the middle, but nobody's there. Water, 1v1 opportunity. Messes up the Musty, and it's cleared away. Mamba to keep the pressure on. 0-1 right now, and again, very, very quiet game 1 so far from both these teams.
I like what Brainerd's doing. Sometimes they're leaving the ball for each other, good pop touches to themselves, but they are not gaining a lot of ground, and that's showing because Des Moines doesn't even feel like they're under pressure half the time. As you see Wubik work his way out of his own half with no boost, and it just feels like Brainerd can't get enough length on the ball down the field in order to even set up pressure. When, I mean, their normal gameplay is defense, but good pop solo play from Mr. Water himself. Obviously, 1/3 of the premier championship team from last season is Bryant will equalize off the miss in 41 seconds. That's a big goal for Brainerd to tie the game.
That was a good touch by Bryant. Slowed it down for Nate, allowed him to get to the ball again, and he puts that ball right behind Water, who covered most of that net. Just that little corner, he sneaks it behind, and 1-1. They needed that goal off that attack. And now they have an opportunity to take the lead. Wubik does not want that to happen, though. Tries to end in regulation. Another irregular attempt, but it's blocked away this time. Pinch down to Mamba. Not allowed to boost to the backboard, but Bryant is there trying to get it out of his own half. Gets the flip reset. Pass over to Nate, but read by the defense, blocked away. Mamba, again, good positioning. Catches, gets it around 2. Almost dangerous towards the net. Bryant there before anything goes too crazy. That pinches down Wubik. Can get there first, and Bryant with 13 seconds left might have sold this game away out from the derecho.
And I mean, this is a huge 50-50 from Nate in the midfield. Wubik's going because he might have a chance, but at the same time, Bryant just gets there in the nick of time first, and that's probably the game winner with 13 seconds left, unless this Des Moines team can get some off the kickoff. Water off the ceiling, leave it into an 8 double attempt, so he does miss it. That does give a little space. Des Moines pop touch to Water. No boost, though, for him. He can't do anything with it, and down to the ground. All Brian has to do is hit the ball there, and that's exactly what he does. A 1-0 lead for Brainerd. But what have we figured out? They cannot get overconfident in this series. They have to take these next 2 games one at a time. Otherwise, I mean, we saw what Des Moines can do with the ball in their hands, and we saw what Omaha did to Brainerd at the end of that last series.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure from derecho there. A lot more shots than Victory, but Victory just holding that defensive line well. Maybe derecho, some of their execution on some of their shots maybe could have been just like a faster shot, more well placed. But they have that pressure. The shots, the opportunities are there. They just need to finish them off. And I mean, Bryant that game had both the goals and had more points than anybody in the lobby by a good margin. Really good game by him. And I mean, it's Bryant. It's not really. It's crazy that he'll have a performance like that, and there's a pause. Restart something.
You can throw it back over to us. We will have a restart for this game. Not much we can do about it, but no, you should be fine with everything. AK, there's nothing for you to worry about. It should restart it itself. But regardless, we'll get this game restarted, and we will look for a different server, more than likely. But game number 2 going to come in just a bit. I think it's Brainerd's time to shine here, but at the same time, I would almost like for them to lose this second game just to make things a little bit easier, to a point where they don't have to worry about, some sort of reverse sweep attempt on them. Almost like a keep yourself in the game sort of thing. But we're gonna load up into game number 2.
Yeah, I think that's really important for them. I think that's gonna be the story for the rest of the series. To be honest, these kind of close games. I think that, especially when you have both teams that have played a full best of 5 and went to game 5, it's gonna. But both these teams are gonna be warmed up. They're gonna be playing, at least mechanically, probably some of the better Rocket League. You see the reason why a lot of game 1s are kind of that more lopsided is they're kind of coming in cold. And just the environment of an on-stream match is always going to be different from any like ranked or scrim you have. But these teams, I think, they warmed up, they played their matches, they went to game 5. Both of them lost. And since both of them lost again, they're in this really tight spot. Such an important. Normally these just regular season games, only 5 points, but sometimes, especially when you're getting close to those majors, it matters a lot. And in game 2, again, kind of the same story as game 1, back and forth, no goals, nothing too promising yet coming out from either side.
Pull into the corner, looking for an infield pass. Will dime Nate, and that's good patience. A great pass from Cole. Nate's there to finish it off, but Mamba no boost in that corner, not able to do anything with that, as that drop down pass is right on Nate's nose, and kind of gives it to him, lets him fire the shot, and it's a 1-0 lead for the victory.
Yeah, and victory starting out game 2 with that goal there, and Des Moines are gonna. I want to see them keep up the pressure they had in that game 1. I just feel like they did all the hard parts of getting the pass, getting the setup, but it's just shooting it around that last defender was just the final piece of the puzzle they couldn't put together. Breakaway chance, Wubik is there first, and yeah, Des Moines are they're gonna probably want to take away this game. They might need to. They don't want to have to deal with a reverse sweep, and it would be a funny storyline to have Brainerd get reverse swept twice. But what a shot! I think that pinched off the defender, or the person challenging. I think they pinched off Mamba. He tried to jump up for it, but I think no. Wow.
No, it's just a banger of a shot.
It was just really fast. It looked like it was a pinch from how fast he shot that. That was a really insane shot. Top shelf, only so much you can do on defense, and victory off to a really hot start after game 1.
And that did look like a pinch, but it was just a rifle of a shot, a double off the corner. This looks more like the Brainerd victory that we saw earlier in the season, and basically the first half of the season is, they kind of play in waves. They set up their backfield line, work up their way. The front field line is Water will snipe a nice shot out of the corner. Somehow he was able to get this angle. Good Merca touch from Mamba to get that one, but I don't know how Water just knows that nobody's in net for Brainerd there. Just is able to pick that shot, but Brainerd, like I said, they work in waves, almost setting up their back line first. Then they work to their midfield boost. Then they hold that midfield line and take the midfield boost, and then they kind of just try and squeeze the life out of you with no boost on your back line, make you to make a bad save, get a bump or something along those lines. But I think Des Moines are a little better for it, as that one will go off the backboard. Nate will be there. Shot is kind of weak, but there's a double commit from Des Moines. Cole going to line up the open net. And guys, can we find a shot here?
All of Des Moines 0 boost, and finally they put it through. Yeah, so much pressure. I think, yeah, especially when you're in these low boost scenarios, you just need to be really calm and patient on your backline. The less boost that you have your team use, the better. And there is multiple double commits coming out. I don't know if that's just a calm thing, maybe just the nerves. But they're gonna need to get it together. They have half the game left to do it. Just some unforced double commits, I feel, just not helping the situation. Just again, considering Victory do really like to boost starve, but good chance for Ubek. Just decides to shoot it on net. Bryant able to get there though. Pinch off to the side wall. Mamba there to try to keep it in the corner. Cole touch out, and yeah, Water got that redirect goal earlier, but so far it hasn't been looking as promising. There's a pass out mid, but Ubik doesn't have any boost. Gets the demo. Despite that, though, Mamba allowed some time on this ball. Has some boost to work with pop-up, but it's blocked out by Nate. Leaves that one for Cole, and it's going to give them good offensive pressure. Really smart leave on that. The defense out. Water down the field. Solo play. Flip reset. Can't get it past the last defender, but they break out now and have some offense. Ubik getting harassed off this ball, and Bryant's going to be first on it due to that.
Yeah, he'll still... He is a shot. Mamba does get the save. Demo in the midfield. From Wubik will leave a little bit of pressure. Double from Water will clear the line. Double commit again from Brainerd, as that one's gonna go in. I don't think Mamba knew Wubik was sitting back, as they will get the save. But again, Bryant lining up a shot, but can't get it to go. And Brainerd still knocking at the door, trying to get the fourth. This is just under 70 seconds. Wubik pop into an air dribble, looking for a flip reset. Shut down by Nate. Bryant has full boost in his back corner, full possession, but I mean, ping pong for 20 or 30 seconds, as Wubik will win a 50. Bryant will win that 50, though. That's just straight in.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is just that with the way that Victory are playing right now on offense, they're very coordinated. With leaving the ball, with getting boost, who's going for boost, who's going to be on the ball, who's leaving, who's filling in for who, and it's really hard to kind of keep that same movement up and keep that same that same pace when there are double commits coming out in the backline and there is boost being wasted, you need to have that movement and that flow. You need to have somebody covering something, and Victory are just making derecho kind of stack up in their own net, and they're taking full advantage of all the space that's allowing it so hard for derecho to start anything once they're kind of stuck in their own half, it seems. But and a big flip as well from game one, where derecho had most of the shots, had most of the pressure, it seemed, but now Victory having a lot more shots, a lot more pressure, and a lot more control in general. There's a skim redirect bump isn't there. Water backflips, and yeah, just not enough time. It seemed at some points it was in grasp water, got one to equal to put it within one. It just kind of got away from him, and I don't think that even the few offensive attempts they had looked promising. It's just they were stuck in their own defensive half for so long. They just weren't really able to break out of it.
And it felt like we were, rare to even see the blue side of the field at that point. It was just all Brainerd on the offense. And I mean, you see it. 2 wonderful shots from Nate. He gets a hat trick in this game. And even then, without him, it's a 1-1 game. So big step up performance from, I think, all 3 players. But if you are the Brainerd Victory, this one is going to need to be done now. Cannot give Des Moines a game, let alone an option for a game. So game number 3 on the cards here. Des Moines down 2-0. See if Brainerd can expel some reverse sweep demons and put this one to bed.
I'm really hoping
nervous
for reverse sweep. I'm really hoping, but I also, I mean, I'm the GM of Des Moines, and I would also feel kind of bad for Victory if they got reverse swept on stream. But so far in game 3, they already have, that was a decent look, had maybe an open net, but just couldn't get the shot off. It's to the backboard, it's dangerous, it's saved, still doesn't go across the goal line, and finally it does. Nate, all 3 players on Victory were right on the same ball. Their water was getting bumped off, and if there's someone to clear that ball, it would have been really disastrous for Victory. They all 3 caught up on that goal line, but they were able just to muscle it through, and they're just so quick to get those beats on those defenders, and just one by one, they're able to open up so much space because of it. Huge pass off the backboard, but this time Wubik is there. Hits the ball for himself to follow it up, leaves it for Water to the side wall, but Nate able to reach that. Now Mamba trying to take his time. Pops it safely into the corner. Bryant is there. Loose ball out to Wubik. Bryant there to clear it off the backboard though, and quiet from derecho. So far, some open space, but nothing too dangerous yet.
I think they'd be better suited to play a little bit closer as when it comes to second man. Nate lining up a double. They both miss. He gets it. And that's a 2-0 advantage now as his scoring streak just continues. Waters 50 does get away from him. And both players from Des Moines, neither of them able to make contact on the ball. As Wubik has had some good touches, good first touches, but a lot of the time it's been shut down by by Brainerd's defense and Des Moines' inability to play close. As that's gonna not find its way in. Bryant had no boost. Can't blame him for missing that one. As 50 will go across the front. Cole's just gonna hold the midfield line. As pop touch for Water, can he even make contact on the ball? Des Moines just looks scrambled and out of place right now. As Brainerd and Bryant looking to take quick advantage of that, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, it's just the defense just looks so uncoordinated. Whenever they do get out of their own half, they seem to they play fast and they play aggressive and they're there, but on defense they just don't play with that same speed, that same aggression. They get complacent, they hesitate, they double commit, they get awkward. They need to figure out that same pace and that same rhythm on defense. It is an entirely different type of game to play defense that fast, but I feel like if they are able to have that confidence that they have on offense and have it on defense, I think that's kind of their missing skill set right now. That's a nice sidewall, but there's all 3 players on Victory there. There's a double commit. Water pops it up high, goes for the beat. Cole just barely gets a touch on it. Mamba 50 on the sidewall, pop up.
Ooh.
Bryant beats out Wubik. Water last back, but it's in the corner. Big pinch out off the ceiling. Cole's there, but it goes over his head. They don't really need to score another goal here, Stewie. 3-0 lead. just over half the game left, and especially in threes, they can really do well to stall the clock out. There's a demo attempt, shot just doesn't have the power. Cole gets a big beat, and now Mamba again last back. There's a shot, there's a save, and every single one of these shots is so scary right now from Brainerd, as any single one of them could be the nail in the coffin.
Good redirect from Bryant. About 2:20 to go. Still a little bit of time for Des Moines if they can get going, but they got to get on the board first. And you're seeing it live a million times over. I mean, Des Moines gets a good first touch. A Brainerd player is there to shut it down, or they're able to just hit the ball in a location that this Des Moines team can't really do anything with it. And I think Des Moines would be better suited to just playing a little quicker and or looking for plays where their players are closer to the ball, because right now the spread is just too thin. I mean, you have, and this is now multiple seconds, 3, 4, 5 seconds before another Des Moines player challenges after Wubik's force on the ball. And that just, if you're going to come back in this game, let alone even make it a game, it has to happen now. Is Waters 50 will give him a little bit, but Wubik's going to burn every ounce of his boost to even keep the ball in the midfield line. Nate knows that, does pick the top right corner. Water will save that shot and keep him alive for now, but once again, Bryant midfield full boost.
There's a touchdown, Wubik. Finally has the possession. Nate's there. Mamba pass on this. They don't really have any time left. Might as well go all in. Reset attempt makes Cole pretty awkward, but it just can't get it past him. 50 out. Only a minute left now. Water full going. Wubik not having a lot of boost does make the challenge though. 50 out. Nate's first down that. Cole on his right goes for the air dribble under Mamba fake, and yeah,
that's the nail.
Yeah, that's the nail. And I agree with what you said. It just seems, I understand the second man hesitancy sometimes on Des Moines. They don't want to overcommit and leave somebody in a 1v3, but if you just sit there and allow them to have possession, allow them to have that space, it's way harder for your, even though you're with your third man, it's so much harder to cover or to play defense when you're just allowing them that much space. They just need that kind of that quickness. There's a shot, but it's saved by Bryant. And I don't know what happened from game one from the rest of the series. I don't know if Brainerd figured something out, but in game one, Des Moines had a lot of the pressure, had a lot of the possession. They ended up conceding on defense a few times, but it was still an even game. Okay.
I mean, yeah, throw the nice one in chat. I mean, that's a great touch from Nate first, but that's an even.
Ryan has no boost, and he just okay.
From Wubik, 5. I mean, Wubik he gave it an attempt, but Ryan that's too much. Too much to deal with. 5-0. I mean, I said the one before it was the nail in the coffin. This is the hammer through the coffin. But, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you can't get off your defensive half. Good save, though, from Mamba. They'll keep the 6th out. Time's going to tick away. Brainerd, do not let that that reverse sweep get to their heads. Bryant's going to put in a 3rd and a 6th, as they will not let that reverse sweep get to their heads. This time, they are able to put the game to bed, and that is a 3-0 sweep for the Brainerd victory and a 6-0 win in game number 3. As not much you can do really. As Des Moines, they looked like they couldn't get anything going. Brian puts up 888 points for the win. And that's all she wrote. That was a pretty quick series for sure. But I think if you're Des Moines, you don't let that get to you too bad, because you do have a major to play next weekend. But you are 2-4, and that was a sweep, and that puts you down quite a bit. And I actually see where how it affects your game differential, because that was an important sweep for Brainerd, because that moves them back into contention for now 7th place. They're tied for it.
Yeah, that bumps Des Moines down to 11th, which isn't the worst spot going into the major. You would have liked to be where Brainerd is right now.
Yes.
In that 7th place spot. But yeah, I think they came off a game 5 loss. In game 1, they had pressure, the shots weren't connecting, and they ended up losing that game. And I think it might have just been, you kind of just saw it. They just slowed down. They started playing passive. They weren't really trusting each other's 50s. I think it was just a confidence thing, which it has huge ripple effects for when you're playing. Just playing confident. You need to have that confidence, especially at this level when everything's so fast. They just look shy. They just look like scared sometimes to challenge or to force her to go off of a teammate's 50. But yeah, and Brainerd did a good job of taking that apart, got the sweep, got the important game, but Major, all of this is setting up for Major 1, which is going to have, we still have not, at least on the sheet, I am not aware, I don't think anyone is aware of the points of Major 1 right now. We do have them. When
We do.
Okay.
We do have them. We do. And there they are. Yeah, you can put them on the screen if you want. There's the points for Major 1. First place getting 21 points. 15 for second, 10 for third, fourth, 5 for fifth through eighth, and then 9th through 11th gets nothing. So if you lose your first round matchup, Ori, you're getting no points. And that is due to the bracket, which AK you can now put on the screen. This is the same for Premier, Rising Star, and Challenger. It's just Premiers. They're literally identical. But yeah, round 1 is all round 1 matchups. No, you're 1 through 16. 1 is playing 16, 2 and 15. I mean, it's a giant single elimination tournament, and it is going to be hell for some teams because they got to make a run now. Otherwise, their season's not gonna last for very much longer. But yeah, just to recap the day, Ori. Excuse me, St. Cloud Flyers. Big win for them, taking on the Bloomington Maulers. That is the number 2 seeded Bloomington Maulers, who are still the number 2 seed. They have one more match later on tonight. If they lose it, they actually could drop. Their game differential could go down if they lose that. But
and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 teams tied for 20 points right now.
Exactly. Well, actually, yeah. And obviously Rochester's locking up the first seed because they do not have a loss. But Minneapolis losing to my team. Shout out KC. But Omaha with the big reverse sweep on Brainerd, and then Brainerd with a little bit of a bounce back recovery 3-0 sweep for November 16th. And that is our weekend of matches. It was a blast. Lots of fun. As always, great Rocket League. Ori, we gotta send us home from from a stream standpoint. It's time to end off the night, and I'm excited because it's always a blast to get to cast with you, my friend. Sorry your team could not get the win, but hey, they'll come back for the major, and you know what, anything is possible in the major. We have seen 7 seeded teams win the major. We've seen 11 seeded teams win the major. There was a team in the 13th seed that made the major final a couple seasons back. So literally anything is possible when it comes to those tournaments. I mean,
we made in second major with my challenger team. We were like 14th or 15th or something, and we made day 2. Made it through Swiss 3-1. So yeah, I think that as well as just sometimes it clicks in the right spot. Maybe it's not like we can make a roster move anymore. I think roster trade window is just about to end, and I think that it's worth it for a lot of teams right now on their rosters to kind of, especially if they've already made a move, is to just stick it through the major and see how it goes, and then you have that another week after the major, and then second trade window's there. So, yeah, for a lot of teams, this has a lot of this week. Major and next week have a lot of implications for rosters for the rest of the season, really, and you're gonna get a more clear picture of which teams are gonna be contending for LAN and which ones aren't. But yeah, this major 1, you get that extra 5 points that over another team, and over the course of the rest of the season, that can make a difference, and it can help out a lot, especially with how tight the standings are even right now. So yeah, I'm gonna be really looking forward to seeing that major 1. Yeah, we don't have any more Rocket League, unfortunately, left to stream to you folks. It's only 6 p.m., although it looks like it's midnight outside with the time change.
Yeah, with how close it gets to being dark.
Yeah. It's currently pitch black outside for me right now. I love it.
I love it. I'm here for it. But
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Trade window ends tomorrow night at midnight, the 17th. So, last day is tomorrow. I'm assuming we're going to see, waivers obviously end tomorrow on Sunday. I'm assuming we'll see some last minute changes based on these matches this weekend. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we get, and yeah, should be a blast. And we'll see you guys next week for Major One.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say, baby, before you walk away. Now I'm in the war, I'm in the race, chasing the time. I've been meaning to find a way to face that I'm not in a what you're set free.